Reef and Adara. Go get them.
What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as That Midday Show. That is your girl, Adara, and I'm Sharif, and I gotta close this chat so I can start shouting out everyone on the other one. We already have a couple of the early birds hanging out with us. We got Big Kyle Burdett talking about Nvidia and coin short. Shout out to him. Chase Bands. We got Salim Khan. We got the Skips 8 and the Piper, the OG. One of the OGs in the chat. Darwin and Killer Cam 20. Pitchbull. We got Lionel Martinez. I was about to say Lionel Messi for a second there. Trader Revolution 6V. Coin, Clockin, Doggo, Big Michael Lloyd. What's up, my man? Good to see you again. We got Francis. We got Bora Hut. We got Adam Deleuze. Visit Highland. Okay. Diamond Realty of Miami. Haven't seen you in a hot minute. Welcome back, my friend. We got Dogo, Zach Griffith, Cass M, and Blue Arrow. Michelle Meir joining us. The Pawns, the Fawns. He's in the house as well. Anurag, we got 1320. We got everybody, baby. And we got Apple at day's highs as we speak now. You saw the Katina man in it. You saw Sean in it, Neil in it, Raymond, as well. Here comes 211 as we speak. 210.95 on AAPL, Adair, 1 2/3 to the high side. Really going here. Good morning.
Good morning. And I think the funniest part of that Apple is how Sharif brought up this Apple to me was, did you see the dead one today? And I was like, it's action, it's not supporting that name. But no, yeah, it's an old habit calling Apple the dead one. The intraday moves on that one have been crazy lately. But how are you doing this fine morning, Sharif?
I'm good. I had a decent weekend, baptism, birthdays. Yeah, it was good. The weather obviously didn't hold out. We know that. It was kind of like iffy in Toronto. There goes 211 on AAPL. Big move up today. The Katina man's yelling. Randy's here. He's looking at the screen. Neil's involved. It's a great day. It's good to be with you back on a Monday, baby. AAPL, as Neil called it, the bell of the ball today, up 1 almost and 3/4 right now. Great move. We'll talk more about some other names that are moving, but in terms of mega cap or Meg 7 world, we should say, it is this one. It is AAPL. It is the super cycle potential holder. There it goes into a new high day. Katina man, 211.25. Big moves here. Not you, Big Kyle. Big Apple to the high side today. Anything you want to cover before we get into the lesson?
Yeah, I want to talk about Nvidia. Jay Lee was saying, yeah, Nvidia's making some crazy moves. I don't know if we'll get to this in the lesson, Jay, but I will talk about what I just saw in the book at Nvidia at 120 because in a word, chaos. So I took that short, breaking that 120. That worked out, but then I wanted to see what we did in the book. I basically just scraped it the second we got below 120 and a little bit lower. I was going to risk into 120.30s, got into at 120.15, so it worked out there, but not the point. The point I'm trying to make is we get as low as 119.50, and then we pick right back up, and we break above 120 and immediately jump 15 cents. That 120 area on Nvidia, just watch out for it, guys. I tried to get in the long. Nvidia said, no, ma'am, you will not be taking this this party to the upside. So I respect that. But Nvidia really struggling with this 90 MA. Just watch what we do at 120 because that's a doozy and a half, that level over there.
Did you see this earlier or not?
I did not see that.
Okay,
earlier.
so this is a headline coming in here. It just came in right now. It's on AAPL. It's speaking about the dead one. Here's a headline. Look, I don't know if this is market moving or not. Apple has instructed its managers to reduce the number of workers on the iPhone finally assembly line by 50% in the next few years. Okay, so that's going to help margins, obviously, here. I don't think it's probably precipitating this move. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. It isn't for me to decide, but looks like Apple wants to increase the margins, I'm assuming, here on their best-selling product, maybe because they're going to get in trouble with the EU, and there's going to be billions to pay there. We saw with that 10% of global revenue is the maximum fine by the EU, which I think is, but that's neither here nor there. Let's get to the lesson du jour. We're talking about average true range all week. We're going to be talking about ATR from many different perspectives. Today, we want to introduce it for those who don't know exactly what it is, to kind of get their beak wet so that they can follow along the rest of the week. So welcome traders. Today, we're diving into average true range ATR for short, a powerful tool for gauging intraday volatility. Let's get right to business. So what is ATR? We always do this. So imagine a ruler that measures the market's typical daily price movement. Essentially, that's the ATR. It considers the highs, it considers the lows, and it considers the closing price to capture an instrument's overall volatility, and it's on average. The average period is over 14 days. So it'll take the high, it'll take the low, and it'll take the close for a 14-day period, and it'll give you the average true range. What is it expected to move intraday? Okay, so why is the volatility assessment here using ATR important? Well, volatility is like the market's heartbeat, right? High volatility means rapid price swings, while low volatility indicates those calmer periods. So you have to know if you're running a marathon or you're half asleep, right? Understanding this rhythm is crucial for intraday trading. If volatility is high, you should have higher expectations for profit targets and more expectations for rapid price swings, while if volatility is low, it's the exact opposite of that. So using average true range as a volatility meter. How do we do this? So first and foremost, you got to find your comfort zone. Are you a high volatility trader or are you a low volatility trader? So high volatility can be thrilling, but of course it can be risky. Conversely, low volatility might offer fewer opportunities, but it can be a bit more secure. So analyze your own risk tolerance, understand yourself and how your personality is structured. Do you like low volatility or high volatility? And that there's no right or wrong answer there, right? ATR will help you, though, identify the market that suits your specific trading style. So if you're one of those low volatility guys, look for things with lower ATRs. So spotting that high volatility, if you're one of those people that likes that high volatility, most day traders are, a rising ATR will suggest to you a volatile market, right? This might be a good time for trend following strategies. They do a lot better during volatile markets. Usually they're trending higher. If you like riding trends, increased volatility can present bigger potential moves. However, be mindful of the increased risk that comes along with that. And if you're a low volatility person, a low ATR indicates what we call calmer markets. This might be good time for scalping. For example, low volatility can offer frequent, smaller price movements that are suitable for quicker entries and exits, as well as the breakout plays. Breakout plays stand out more during calmer periods. When everything is volatile and everything is breaking out, it doesn't stand out, the name that's breaking out. But in a low vol environment, a breakout definitely stands out. So in calmer market, a breakout, which is a price past resistance, might have a more follow through, offering potential gains because so many people are fixated on that one stock that's breaking out as opposed to spreading themselves thin over multiple stocks that are moving. So beyond the basics, right? What ATR is, while ATR, is a great starting point, you got to remember a couple of things. It's historical. It's showing you the historical volatility. Usually we look at history as, rhyming, maybe not necessarily repeating with the future, but it gives us an indication of what this one has done in the past. But that's specifically it, the past. It cannot predict the future, although, it helps shed some light on what it's tended to do. And you should also be using it with other technical tools. You should be looking at support and resistance. What's going on over there? Oh, I thought something. It's all good. I just checking with the Katina man. You should be using it with other tools, support and resistance, moving averages. We'll get into that later on this week. But you should not rely on it exclusively and be looking to use it with other technical indicators. So how do you put this whole thing into action? So you're gonna obviously get yourself a trading platform that has average true range. Most of them do now, and they mostly run on 14-day averages. You're free to change that if you want. If you want to switch to 10, 21, whatever you want to do, but the standard default range for ATR is 14 periods. And then you want to analyze the ATR. You want to look at the current ATR value and see how it's been trading. Is the ATR elevated for the particular instrument that you're looking at, or is it within its historical range, or is it below? And if it is higher or lower, what are the reasons and how can you profit off that? And then number 3, adjust your strategy here, right? Based on the volatility reading for the instrument that you're looking at, you're going to adapt your trading approach. We talked about how volatile markets more favorably look at the trend following system, while more calmer markets look better for scalping and for the clear breakout trades. So you can keep that in your mind. And remember, guys, always ATR, definitely a valuable tool, but nowhere near a magic formula. Always practice sound risk management and combine it with other technical strategies for informed trading decisions. And you can try using ATR on a paper account, just to kind of get your feet wet and know how it works in with your style.
Yeah, because like ATR, you know, sometimes things aren't perfect. Sometimes it can be AFR, average false range, instead of average true range. But so you have to figure out what works for you, and always take your time with that. Thank you so much to Sharif, as always, for preparing those lessons of the day. I have been messing around here with NVDA to mixed to mostly negative results. Basically what happened here with, I did the profit of that first short. I tried to go long here because, like I said, there was something fishy at 120. It looked like a long. We had higher lows. I said we'll risk into the 120 breakdown. Got the 120 breakdown. I got out. Then I got back in, or I got into the short again because I was like, you know, we're having these lower highs on the book. We had this at the time a topping tail candle, and then that candle, of course, ended up closing higher. We got above that 120.30 area, which had been kind of a sticking point, so I had to make my exunt. I tried to get long here at 120.30, and Nvidia was like, no, you know, Dara, I'm already on my way to the upside, so you're gonna have to wait there. I'm really hesitant. I always love the 90 MA level. This was massive resistance earlier. Now it's forming a support. That's spicy to me. There's something here for me in NVDA, but right now I'm not sure which way the wind blows on that name. So shout out to Sharif.
I love that.
AMD of range, if I've ever seen
Pushback.
one. Yeah, this is I think AMD has warranted this pushback, Sharif. I tried a bit of a short here earlier because we were, also bless you, because someone just sneezed there.
Ram.
We had, I love the way you say bless you, Ram, with like just such a straight face. It's amazing. But no, so we clearly had a little bit of support here earlier at 159.30s, right? So I said, I want to try this short. If we break above 159.30s, we'll get out. We also had that doji-ish topping tail candle that supported that thesis. And then AMD was like, Adara, no. I am not a short, but thank you for playing. Said, that's okay, AMD. Lost 20 pennies, left. I'm not going to hop my way into this short right now. I think it could be a range. I think it looks a bit rangy, but I want to see a little bit more confluence before I get involved. Shout out to Obi there, and shout out to Confluence. Also, I'm going to look at a couple charts here. Shout out to Kyle Burdett for mentioning, big Kyle Burdett for mentioning some charts here in the chat. We have DIS here, Disney. Oh, this 90 MA rejection is nice. Disney is not a stock that moves in a way that I usually like. I like my stocks that move a little bit faster, a little bit scalpier. But that DIS kind of bull flag fake out is an interesting look. DIS going on the side chart. Oh. Because, you know, I think, I don't want to diss this name, but we're below the 90 MA. So I think there could be some opportunities to have a short in this here House of Mouse. So thank you, Kyle Burdett, for shouting out that one. Also, take a look here at Etsy, because I know you mentioned that one as well. Let's see. I always read Etsy's on.
He's been all over Etsy and the Dixie for a while. He's been sending me charts of Etsy and the DXY. The dude's a charting extraordinaire, by the way.
This Etsy chop and turn around the 90 MA is a great look. Let's take a look at the daily chart here for ETSY. We're running into some resistance here on the daily chart on Etsy around that 61 area. Look at that. Support and resistance can flip-flop. We had a bit of a wick above later. Now we have a bit of a bullish candle forming. We'll wait and see. But yeah, we'll wait and see what we get in this. I'm still looking. You guys know I look at Nvidia, I look at Tesla, I look at AMD, and I look at IWM and SPY. I'm going to be sticking with those names for the foreseeable future. But if there's something else that really tickles my fancy, I'll get involved.
The Katina Man's yelling about Apple right now as it just broke back in today's high. So shout out to him. AAPL on the way to the high side. I see you, Asta. Let's go, Apple. I see you. I see you. I see the other dude there in the chat that just said he went long Apple as well. Hope you print, goes without saying. But what I want to talk about right now are the small cap gappers du jour, Ram. And we know that Donald John Trump, DJT, big move today, 20 1/3 percent, just printed day's high not that long ago at 34.37, hanging out right now at the 10 exponential. It's been a love affair today with Donald John Trump and the 10 exponential on the 5. That is the green line right there. As you can see, there is no candle that closes below the 10 exponential on the 5. As of yet, they've been all bouncing off it and then moving right back up. So eye on DJT. Another one that's big today, 91%. This one was above triple digits ever so briefly, MLGO. Big move today, 91 some odd percent, 38% since the bell has rung. $56 million market cap. It's done 60 million shares on the day. And the float, a hot 3.7 million. Let's go to the short float, find out what the deal is there. Shout out to the Nos boss and his crew. Use the code TraderTV20 for 20% off this software here that you see on your screen. 2% short here for Aljo. Come on, you're not French. Good. That's a decent, I don't want to say it's decent. It's definitely not something I'd base a trade off. 2% short float, not much there. But 794 high, definitely had trouble with 8, but very much like DJT, this one has had an awful lot of respect for the 10 exponential on the 5. Keep your eye on that MLGO. There's more, guys. There's more. There's like a lot. The first thing Adair said to me when I came back from my walk today was, there's a lot of small cap gappers.
It is.
He's right.
A factual statement.
It's absolutely factual. NXL was one that we knew about from Friday. It ran in the pre-market and well after the bell, as well as the aftermarket on Friday. Look at that recovery off a $1.60. Excuse me. In the aftermarket there, it actually broke the intraday high in the aftermarket. No halt parameters we know after 4 o'clock. Touch of that 290. Below that price right now, it is very much an inside day for NXL. We're ensconced by the highs and the lows of Friday, but decent day nonetheless. 43% above Friday's close, dancing with $2.50 right now. Let's see how this one does. That's not the only one that's moving with an N. NNE printing days high, just got into that $21 area, $20.88 is NNE. This one, you got to be a little suspicious of this one though, because the volume is bupkis. 2.5 million shares on a $20 name and not going to cut it for me, but the chart pattern looks very good. Another one with an awful lot of respect with the 10 exponential on the 5. There has not been a print below the 10 exponential since 1020. That's going on an hour up and to the right. NNE. Let me give you the deets. This one's not a small cap gapper. It's about $600 million market cap. Like I mentioned, 2.6 million shares done on the day. The float, not small, but not large, 15.3 million share float. Let's find out what the short float is on our friend NNE. NNE does not have one here according to Trade Ideas, or they just don't have it. So we won't base anything off that. So that one is going. And then the last but not least, one that was running on Friday, another second day play, much like what was that one called? NXL. GRDI, decent day for it as well. 14% and change. It was up higher at the highs. This one's definitely having trouble with that $1.50. We saw that Friday morning when it got into 147. Today got into 149. So breaks a high, but still not able to break through that $0.50 level. Decent look here. Volume definitely a little bit lighter. It looks as if though crests flipped resistance, and that seems to be the pattern. That's the pre-market high. We break that level after the bell. We use the pre-market high as support. Does the same thing over here. Prints that 135 high, breaks down, breaks it, then uses 135 as support again. So look for that pattern to continue on GRDI until it doesn't. So those are the 6 small cap gappers I'm looking at today, Derek.
There's so many small cap gappers. And I think one thing too that you had to say with regards to patterns holding until they don't, I realized that's what's going on with Nvidia, so I flipped the style up on that one.
Nice.
Basically, NVDA, I was like, oh, we're going to bounce. Like, we're going to basically do what we did now. We're going to bounce off the 90 MA, get involved at your 120.30s. And NVIDIA said, actually, I'm not going to do that right now, Adara. So we broke below 120.15s. I got out. I was like, cool, NVIDIA. But if you make a higher low, if you keep resting at that 119.80s area, I will take you long again. That is a promise and a threat. So I did. Yeah, I know, I'm being a little strict.
Let it know, Derek.
But yeah, that did work out. I said I'd risk it into 119.60s because we've had higher lows on a week basis. I don't even think broke below 119.80s. I was like, NVIDIA, I'll take that. I have no problem with that. So got long, stayed long. I scalped out into, I got the first part out 120.15, got the rest out 120, I believe 22s. The reason I didn't stay longer is because I didn't think we'd get this high. Nvidia surprised me a little bit here. So we're gonna have to wait and see if we see what we've generally seen and we break down here at 120.40s. Nvidia, I shall take you short, but I'm watching to see what we do in the book. Right now, 120.40 holding pretty well on the book basis. So I'm gonna wait and see what we do with this name. I'll take it either direction if I see things that support that either way. Right now, though, Nvidia is having some, as Sharif sometimes says, a love affair with the 9 EMA. And, like, I don't know if they have a love-hate relationship or what. It'll hanging out below, it'll briefly bounce above, it'll come back below. There's something going on here. Yeah, there's a thank you to Day Trader Cut for the $2 super chat there. Affirm squeezing through high of day, says Chandler. Yeah, the Affirm. Shout out to Neil earlier who had that. Affirm having a price target affirmed by Goldman Sachs. So nice look here. We dip briefly below VWAP. But yeah, shout out to Neil for saying if as long as 3150 holds, Affirm's all good there. Affirm gets to 3160 and bounces right back. So shout out to Neil. Yeah, Neil and his lesson of the day and that insight there, because that was a great look here for Affirm. Affirming Neil's prediction with where it held. Oh, Elon tagging me saying, hi, Adara. The Zon is saying, let's catch up with Apple. That is just a really funny comment there. So I had to read that out. Yeah, Amazon, definitely not. I will say the difference between Apple and Amazon is Apple up on the day, continued uptrend. Amazon, bit weaker here, trying to break up. However, I do see you, Elon. I think if we break above this previous area of resistance at 188.30, that could be a nice little long here, but it has to break above that resistance and also this VWAP area, this 189. Those to me are the areas that Amazon has to break above to be a bit more of a convincing long. Amazon, if you don't break below the long, I usually don't trade you, but if you keep rejecting this 188.30, I will short you. Just a warning, Amazon. I think though, Elon, I think you're probably right. Just what I'm seeing here, it looks like we're continuing higher in Amazon. But if that resistance area does prove to be a resistance area, that might be something I'm interested in here. Kyle Burdett is short Boeing, so that could be a nice look as well. What are you looking at over here?
Hold on, there was a headline on Boeing today that I heard in the morning. Let's find out what it is, because I totally forgot to report on that today. Give me a second here.
I think that there were prosecutors urging.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. Exactly about that. Here it is. U.S. prosecutors recommend the Department of Justice. Hold on, aren't U.S. prosecutors part of the Department of Justice?
One would think.
Charge Boeing as deadline looms. Again, criminal charges here doesn't mean Calhoun and the boys are going to end up locked up. No, it's going to be usually a heavy dollar fine for, like, it's going to be a big boy fine. We know that it was 2 some odd billion. I think it was 2.5 billion last time they made that deal. In 2021, I believe it was, and this time they're talking about being a bit more. Yeah, it was a $2.5 billion to settle the investigation. That was in 2021. If they get convicted, it's going to be a lot more. They're actually seeking 25 billion, according to this, reports Reuters. 25 billion, no joke. What is the market cap of the company? The market cap's 110 billion. So yeah, just do the math right there. Obviously, none of this is, a done deal or anything like that, but it's obviously the threat of sanction. So I was looking at going short here on Nvidia as it was dancing with the 10 exponential, doing topping tails. I don't know if I missed my entry. We're just a skosh below that 20 or that 120 area. So this one could theoretically move down quite a bit more because it has that 118, the third low there. But yeah, I'm just going to wait on this one. Shout out to Day Trader Cut, $2 super chat. Shout out to you, my man. Sharif's shirt is tighter than Sean's stop losses. Hey man, I promise you it's stretchy. Look at that.
Yeah, he loves the stretchy shirts, guys. He talks all the time about the stretchy shirts.
I can't deal with anything not stretchy. There freaks me out.
I know you said like it's not a fun time.
No, it actually kind of ruins my mood. But there goes Nvidia down into 199, high 50s, low 60s right now. Good look there. I'm also keeping an eye on Apple because it's been very strong, 2 1/5. Topping tail right now at 212 and 2/3. So keeping one eye on that. I'm also keeping an eye on the recovery that we just had on the Mag 7. With the exception of Apple, we've been very weak on the Mag 7. But look, lo and behold, the future comes into the volume weighted average price and finds a red candle, and that's precipitated this whole ascent here that we've been having on the Mag 7 to kind of pump the brakes a little bit and start trending down. So it's going to be about where or which one I want to get into. I've already, I feel, missed my entry on Nvidia, although I should have had that. Don't know why I hesitated there. But we go down below 19.9, rejecting the volume weighted average price, now below 19,900 on the future. So we'll keep an eye on that topping tail candle on Apple as well. Don't forget though, guys, that the newer segment starts, or the voting for the newer segment starts now. You can vote anytime from now until 1:50. Vote for your favorite tickers of the day, and we'll have Neil and Sean look at them for you during the afternoon rundown. They'll give you their look, and any trades they had on it, they'll analyze it. If they didn't trade it, they'll give you their look on it as well. So keeping an eye on that. I'm not sure what I'm going to trade at the moment. I'm going to pack my patience here, but I want something because there's a lot of stuff going. I just want to get in at an appropriate entry.
Yeah, and if you want to vote, you just have to go. If you want to enter your ticker, or if you want to enter that vote, go in the chat right now, ! Join space, $, whatever ticker you want to look at. So NVDA, AMC, MSFT, GME, I don't know, whatever ticker you like, you put that in the chat. Also, Nvidia, I totally echo what you have to say in that short, because I tried to get that short and Nvidia also said no.
I'm really mad
Nvidia
about
shut
that.
the door in my face. Nvidia pulled a Jerome Powell and closed that door. I was like, how dare you? I like that 119.30s. That was the, or sorry, 120.30s. That was the area I really liked, right? And Nvidia will not let me have it. I was like, how dare you, right? I was like, Nvidia, I'll even take 120.15s, which is the other area I liked. Nvidia was like, yeah, I can't give you that either, unfortunately, Adara. I was like, are you serious? Then I was watching, because I know earlier we were seeing a lot of bouncing at that 119.80. Nvidia doesn't give you that. I said, fine, I'll try to go short again, Nvidia. This is still a level I want to short at. And Nvidia said, no. So I've just decided I don't want to chase any further. There were levels I liked that I tried to get short at that Nvidia would not give me. That's fine, that's valid, whatever. Where's the next trade? As Obi always says, shout out there. If Nvidia's on the book, though, is doing something interesting here at 119. If this bounces, I'm not going to go long right away. I'll just watch for the areas for the shorts that I like. But 119 will either break down here or bounce. I think something spicy could occur here. Also, AMD was another one I mentioned earlier. I wanted that short at this, what is this, like 160.80s, and AMD bounced. But if it keeps, or it keeps bouncing, now it's sold off a little bit here. If it bounces at 161s, you know I'm going long. I mean, maybe you don't, but I will. That's what I'm doing. I like these support resistance flippity flops. And shout out to Sharif as well, because I definitely learned that style from sitting here at this desk. I know that's something you look for a lot. I like this. We are going long here. AMD. Okay, there we go. I was like, AMD, how dare you? How AM dare you? But yeah, so right now we're filled. If we break below here into this 160.80, that 25 penny risk, I'm totally okay with that. Looks like we could get to like these 162s if this pattern holds. I like this because it's higher highs and higher lows, and it's also doing that at a previous area of resistance. This is not as scalpy as stuff I would normally like, but given the speed at which AMD moves, I'm more comfortable staying in this one for the type of move I want. It's like 2 5-minute candles. Again, things don't always hold out how you think they will, but that's something I'll be watching out for. I also, we know I have no issue scalping out earlier if needed. That is always my vibe. So we're gonna start getting out here at 161, just shy of 50s. We'll do 48s. Pleased as punch, and now I actually punch, so we're gonna see if we get that. I'm still watching you, NVDA. NVIDIA did have that 119-ish bounce. We're getting to that 119.50, which was another area I liked. Tesla was really strong here. Now we're coming to bounce off the 90 MA. That's another long I think I shall be taking, and then I would risk that. I just need to figure out where I would risk that, so I'm not hopping into that right away. Happy with my AMD. Looks like we're about to get our first beak water there in AMD, so hopefully that duck will dip its little toe into the, or its face into the water.
Yes, got short softy. I could have covered quite a bit here as it did dip right into that 20. I chose to be a bit more greedy and wait for the $0.25. I was really waiting for that 25 penny area at the, well, the reason I was waiting for that 25 penny area is because it was a 200. So if I get stopped out through the break of 450, that's fine. Looks like it will stop me out here as a hammer candle is coming in both on the future and on Microsoft. So if we cross 450.05, I'll get stopped out for a 50 penny loser, and that's all right. It looks like I will get stopped out here. Here comes 455, and there we go. Now we're out of that. So that's all right. I'm going to look to get back in if this one shows me more weakness. So looking for the weakness on the Mag 7 names, really except for Apple, because Apple just printed another high a day right now, 212.70. So I'll keep my eye on that one. But I definitely like some of the weakness that I'm seeing here on the Mag 7. It's just about getting it in at the right price. But we're right back almost into the volume weighted average price here at on the NQ, excuse me, September contract into 19.925. So it looks like, the future picking back up, but still below the volume weighted average price. If we stay below VWAP, I still have a bias of short against some of these names. So we'll pack our patience here and see if we can get something on these names. I'm going to go back short here again on Microsoft, and I'll look to cover everything through the break of the quarter dollar. So we'll go like that, and we'll sit like that. And then so we'll sit like this, and there we go. So that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to find the weakness before we get all the way into the volume weighted average price short at 01s. Let's see if we can get something a little bit lower than that. The other names that I'm looking at Tesla rejecting at that 185.50. It was kind of like near VWAP, didn't quite make it up to the volume weighted average price, and then heading right back down. Also, we got a 20-period rejection on Amazon at 188.50. 502 seems to be a bit of a tougher target here for Meta as it rejects that level as well. So keeping my eye on some of these names here. All right, we're nicely 20 pennies in the money here on Softy. Let's see if we can get a little bit more to make up for that L that we just took. So we're short 01s and we're printing 79s right now on the future. But I think that, if we reject here, we can curl down a little bit more. So I don't want to cover too quickly on Microsoft. And if I get stopped out, I get stopped out. I want to hold for the larger move. That's going to be kind of like I'm trying to hold for longer. We'll see if I can actually execute that IRL there.
Yeah, hopefully you can. Hopefully that Microsoft works out there, and it nice.
Hopefully.
Nice increase. I was trying to think of a pun and I couldn't. Kyle Burdett, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. BA losing the doors, baby. Spin that dollar club. So let's spin that dollar club there for BA.
Is it the money or the dollar club? What does he want? We'll do both.
We'll do both.
There you go.
We'll do both. But yeah, let's take a look at that Boeing there. Boeing flying to the downside. Oh, that's a great short there. Shout out to Kyle Burdett. We had that rounded top there coming into VWAP. Interesting look. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what we do with this VWAP level because, of course, VWAP is not always going to be level, but we are there. We did bounce at VWAP last time as well, so that could be interesting. It'd be a higher low. So shout out there to Kyle Burdett. Also, I want to talk about my brief Tesla short or Tesla long. I want to flip short and I didn't. And you know what we're actually going to get. As long as we stay below 80s, I'm cool with this. We're going to try to get 74s. Which looks like I will. I wanted to go long because we had this, look at this, how we sat all pretty at the 90 MA. I was like, yes, I want my long. And I was going to risk it. I got involved 86s. I was going to risk into mid 60s, but then I did not like how we kind of careened to the downside on the book. So I said, Adara, get out at 78s. I lost 8 pennies. I'm happy I got it where I did though, because I don't really view that as a panic sell. I said, if I see something in the book that I don't like, I have to trust that. And I did, and I did see something I didn't like, and I trusted it, so I'm happy with that. Flipped short, because I said, if we're not going to bounce off the 90 MA, we can always reject here. I'm aware of the bottoming tail candles. That was also part of my impetus for the long in the first place, so the bottoming tail candles do still exist. I will be cognizant of them. I want to see if we break above into this 180, like near the 185s. I'm not even going to give it all the way to 185s, because I watched in the book what we did there earlier. That'll be kind of where I have to leave. And also, we know what I'm like. If I see anything in the book that gives me the heebie-jeebies, I will have to depart. But right now, no heebie-jeebies. We're below that 184.80. Let's see what we do here. No stressla in Tesla. It's going to be my new motto. Oh yeah, AMD. I got out of AMD, which I'm happy with, and I forgot I was in. So let's talk about AMD. Happy with how I managed this. Like I said, this was always a plan to get part out at 160, 150s. Did that. Took my next out. This is just purely based on the book. I noticed we were slowing here at 160, 170s. I said, Dara, get out like 160, 165s. That's where I did. We could have gone to 162s, but I just didn't trust what I was seeing there in the book. If we keep seeing these higher lows with these beautiful bottoming tail candles, I will continue to play this AMD range scalp. I have no qualms with that. I am qualmless, as I often am. But let's see what's going on here. Tesla getting into my danger zone around this mid-90s, so I may have to hop out of that Cybertruck like I'm in a Jason Bourne movie. Let's see what we're going to have to leave here. How are you doing over here?
We're good. Still flat on this trade. I mean, it could have printed 40, but I'm just trying to hold for longer. And if I'm trying to hold for longer, that's usually, it's gonna get you in trouble sometimes because you'll be in the money and then you won't cover, and yeah, that's the way it is. So I'm gonna try to pack my patience with this trade. I'm trying to get at least 50 pennies on it before I take anything out. So we'll see if we get that or not. So keeping an eye on some other trades though, because it looks like maybe the winds of change may be coming in on some of the names, not all, some of the names. It looks like Nvidia's putting in a bit of a higher low here. So the current low is 180 and a third now. We put in a low at 180 and 3/4. Sorry, 118 and 3/4, not 180. Get it together. Still below the 20 exponential, but above the 10 most notably. Meta also, one hell of a hammer candle being put in here on META as it finds multiple bounces off that 550 area. Now looking to take that 502 area out. A bit of a local top here for META. So we'll have to see if this one keeps running to the high side. That's a good look. Goggles though has been quite weak. I'd have to say, even though it does look like it's done nothing on the day, any pop into, like, I don't know, take your pick, the 20 or the 50 really has sold off. So it's below the volume weighted average price, is putting in lower highs and lower lows. And we're just a skosh above that IB low, excuse me. Anyway, so keep my eye on that. I'm not gonna cover my Microsoft trade here. Again, still holding on to this one. But yeah, looking to see if the winds of change are coming on some of these Mag 7 names, because I don't want to be holding softy when the future starts turning right back up. Tesla, as we were kind of talking about earlier, below the volume weighted average price, but again, most notably, like some of the other Mag 7 names, they just put in a higher low. So the low of the day was at 182.60. Last time around, 184.50 was as bad as it could get. Tesla has a bit of a range today, at least $6 worth of range on this name. So let's see what we get. With this one, not going to jump into anything there too quickly here. Right back down we go here on Softy, but it looks like it's a bit of a range here that's being established sideways. So if it's going to be a range, I'm going to have to play it as a range, not a breakdown trade. So here we go. I've got a beak wetter at 60s. It's showing me there we go. Am I going to get filled? Can it cross 60 over here? There we go. Nice. Okay, so I did pack my patience there. Took that one short, still holding a piece. We're about 50 pennies in the money on this Microsoft short, but I got to tell you, it looks very sideways. And so if that's going to be the case, and this is not the one that you want to take for a breakdown trade, if it's going to give you this kind of range. I saw these topping tail candles. I saw the lower high, and I figured it was going to curl. I figured, you know, we're going to get that rounded top, shout out to the NOS boss and his crew, and then, you know, kind of curl right back down. That's not what we're getting, though. We did get the lower highs on the wicks, but we're not necessarily getting those consistently lower lows on Softy. So the fact that I've de-risked here helps me a little bit, but you know, I have got to rethink how I feel about Microsoft because it's not breaking down in the way that I anticipated. So keeping my eye on the futures, the Mag 7 names and the future. And yeah, that's the look there. Now, let's get back to some of these small cap gappers because I see a whole bunch of topping tail candles on NNE. Yikes. I saw you guys there in the chat talking about NNE breaking out to highs, and you guys are absolutely right. $22.28 is the high of day, but look at that. 4 topping tail candles in a row. I mean, it's a small cap gapper, so you don't want to place too much emphasis on one thing here, but it looks like this one could be a possible short coming in. Let's put this up on the side chart over here, NNE. So we can see its movements at all times. We talked about this one being a bit of a volume dud, right? 22 some odd dollars, only 3 1/5 million shares done on the day. Ain't gonna cut it, baby. We need more. But from a technical perspective, if this breaks down below 21 or wherever it's trading right now, look for support at 20. It is not by accident that we crest at that $20, tank into 18, then break 20 on the second attempt. If we come back into 20, look for possible support. Or if you're going to short this, if you're able to get shorts on this, I'd be saying look to cover at 20 because I anticipate support at 20. Not saying it's going to manifest there. Back into the Mag 7, not much happening here with the soft one. Right back into that 44990s. So 10 pennies from my entry. It doesn't look like Softy's going to break down today. I'll have to look for a different breakdown trade.
Yeah, nice look there. Tesla, speaking of breaking down, Tesla just dropped a cool 10 pennies. If Tesla doesn't want to hold that 185, you know I will go short. I have no qualms. I am qualmless. It looks like Tesla is trying to tempt me here. I'm like, come on, Tesla. I don't know how we play this. We're still bouncing off the 90 MA. Yeah, I'm not picking either direction. This name is too waffly for me right now. I'm like, Tesla, you got to let go of the ego here. You got to pick a direction on this 90 MA before I make a decision. Speaking of decisions, I made arguably too many on Nvidia. Look at all of these trades I had in this 1 5-minute candle. Basically, initially, I thought it was a long at, wait, what order did I do this? I think it was short. Yeah, it was short, long, short. It ended up being a long period. So first I went short because I was like, that 120.40 had been in a level earlier. Then I kind of panic sold, I'm not even gonna lie, got out. Then I flipped long because I said, Adara, we have that bottoming tail candle. Then Nvidia dropped. I should have waited to see what we did at 120.15. I didn't. And then I flipped short because I was like, Adara, we keep breaking below the 120. But the winds of change had come into Nvidia. Shout out to Sharif. So I should have been more cognizant. Then I said, if I see a higher low in the book, I'll flip long. We get to 120.22. That is a higher low in the book from what we had seen on that candle. I tried to punch long. Nvidia moves without me and pushes up higher. Now you might be like, Adara, if you're struggling with Nvidia, why do you keep looking at it? Because I think you learn the most from doing things that do not come naturally to you, right?
100%.
I feel like I have a decent read on the book. I just don't think I ever play it appropriately, which is why it's like, I think I need to work on that. I'm not going to be able to do that unless I'm sticking with it. Right? I think if you want to learn a skill, you have to continue to work at it. You have to be disciplined. And that comes from learning. And that comes, you learn through doing. I'm very much the type of person. So NVIDIA, you want to keep bouncing one. Okay, yeah. NVIDIA is being really bamboozling around this 120, 30, 40 area. But there is something here that I think could be interesting. If we keep bouncing off that 90 MA, we're gonna try for 37s. I like 37s. Smaller-esque position there. Let's see what we do. Because I think you really do only learn from having these practical applications and from going in and from trying things. If we break below 22s, which like I said, is an area watched in NVDA, that is where I will have to say goodbye. NVIDIA adieu to NVDA. It worked better in my head.
Are you riding on 22s?
I am not, no.
Okay.
I'm not in that, well, I guess I'm waiting. If we bounce off 22s, I'll stay. I don't think I get that reference, no.
22 rims. Riding on 22s,
well, I don't
right? 22.
drive.
I know, but you're all about the rap.
I do. I should.
And they always talk about that.
That
right?
is my bad.
That's all good.
I took an L on that.
That's all
but
good.
hopefully not taking an L on this trade. Looks like if we get back to that 120.47s, that's where I tried to punch out here. We will be a few pennies in the money, but Nvidia getting kind of weaker here, so I just want to get out. Took an L on that reference, but took a small W, a baby W, a lowercase W on my Nvidia trade.
Nice job.
Lowercase, but thank you, appreciate it.
All right, I was able to, I saw the range on Softy, so when it entered my area, I'm like, I'm not gonna get back into the top in the range and not add. I added literally at the top. I did get top wick at 19s and then cover right at the whole dollar again. So we'll take another little mini dub. So 2 for 1 right now on MSFT, 1 loss, 2 wins. But believe it or not, still negatory on it. So we'll have to work our way out of this. Right now, though, what I see on Softy and based on what I see on the Fuge, if we break above this volume weighted average price on the Fuge, eek. Okay, Meta right at that volume weighted average price. Softy starting to put in a rounded bottom. These higher lows are not lost on me. Neither are the higher highs that are coming in. So in fact, it kind of ended up being the exact opposite of what I saw in Softy. I saw lower highs and a newer low, and I said, okay, it's going to be a rounded top, and it's going to break through that closing print from Friday. Friday's closing print, 449 3/4. We've been dancing at 450 the entire time, so I figured, okay, it's going to be down. No, it kind of looks the opposite of that. It looks like a rounded bottom. Shout out to the NOS boss and Big Kyle Burdett for their affinity for rounded bottoms. But yeah, look at this one. Coming right back into that 450.5 again. If it breaks it on a closing basis and doesn't do one of these umpteen amount topping till candles that it's done on the day, then I will definitely change my attitude on the soft one. We'll take this one long, but we'll have to see something concrete here rather than just this range that's been established. Anyway, Meta, I was yapping about this one being initially strong, then very weak, and now it's kind of somewhere in between, all right? Right back into the volume weighted average price, kind of the midpoint of the day. $503 is where we're at right now. We've shown some propensity here to respect VWAP. There were some candles bouncing off it at around 10 o'clock to about 10:20 when we broke down below it. So let's keep an eye at this 503, 503.5 on the META. It looks like it wants to recover here. I know I haven't mentioned Apple because Apple's been at highs, and I won't punch in highs on something. It'll have to retrace into a key level. for me to get interested. But I'll talk about some of the other ones, the AMZN. This one's been rejecting off 20 multiple times, but most notably, look at these higher lows that it's putting in, right? Coming right into that 188 and a third, 188 and a quarter. That was the low end trough that we printed right at the open. We broke down below it at around 1045 or so, and now we're right back into that area top and can't break through it. So I don't know if it has a lot to do with the 20 as much as it does this price action previous support now acting as resistance between 188 and a quarter to about a half, more like a third is a bit of a range there on AMZN. So keep your eye on that. What else we got? The Cybertruck still below VWAP. Google has been very range bound on the day. Google is the dead one on the day. But anyway, it just broke above here. VWAP, so Google waking up, getting back above the volume weighted average price, still south of 180 though. It's been very subdued on the day, up 0.06%. So not much to mention there. NVDA, still above 120, but south of the 20 period exponential, and very much looking like a similar look to Amazon in the sense that it's coming right back into that area trough, now using that earlier trough from around 1030 as an area resistance level at that 120 and 3/4 or thereabouts. So look at this area over here, bottomed out there. Now we're using this area for a while now. Rejection 1110, another rejection 1115, another rejection 35, and another 140. So all off that 120 and 3/4 on NVDA. A bit of a tougher look today for Nvidia. It was over 6% at the lows. Yeah, what can you do? I mean, the thing's up a zillion percent on the year. It's just healthy retracements here. Okay, let's go back into Meta because we're getting a red candle here at VWAP south of that 503.5. We mentioned VWAP as an area of possible resistance. Looks like it's using it as resistance right now, dropping about $1 off that 503.5 into 502.60s, high 60s that is. META at VWAP encountering some local resistance.
Yeah, I tried a thing here on Tesla. It did not work out, but I would like to explain why I did it because I knew this was probably going to work against me, but I had a lot of confidence in the short, so I said, you may as well try it. Got short Tesla. I knew we were bouncing off the 90 MA. I said, Adara, this can definitely go against you. But I've seen patterns like this as well where we do end up rejecting, and I felt more confident in that rejection. We did push below that 185. We're pretty decisively below it. I said if we get a decisive push above that 185.20s, that's where I'll get out. That's where I did, in fact, get out here. And look, now we're kind of even selling back off again. So we're going to have to wait and see if we keep bouncing off these 185.15s. Maybe it was a long, but it looks like I did get a little bit skirt out of this trade. Unfortunately, I had to leave where I had to leave. But yeah, I still think Tesla's a short here. I stand by that. And you might be like, Adara, what is your impetus for that? Well, sometimes we see these kind of we have some weakness on the name, we push up, have a little bit of a bull flag breakout, and it fails. To me, we're kind of a little bit skittish. I should have gone with the long off the 90 MA, but I didn't feel comfortable with it. I felt comfortable with the short. So alas, Tesla, not the best stuff for me right now, but just got to keep pushing higher. Wanted to address that trade, but I also have lots of other comments here in the chat that I would like to address. Someone in the chat was asking, how do I vote for the ticker? Well, we'll tell you. You go in the chat right now, you go exclamation point, join, space, $, I don't know, TSLA, MSFT,
Bang.
NVDA, DIS, SPY, IWM. You guys know what tickers are. You go.
Yes.
You pick your ticker. You go in the type,
Yeah.
and put it there. Also, thank you so much to the £5 super chat from Adam DeLuce. You learn by doing, totally agree, tagging me here. 9.5 years in this industry, and you learn the most by doing. Continue to have that mindset always. Thank you so much for the kind words, Adam DeLuce. Always trying to learn a little bit from every trade. Courtney Blake as well with the super chat. $5 super chat there from Courtney Blake. Throwing down some coin for big copper. That's positive support for the group and to Ponzi Fonzie as well. You guys make this chat thrive and my wallet fat. Shout out to this chat. Shout out to such a positive community. That's why I always like to stay positive. I like to say, maybe the account's not green, but I'm always bullish positivity. Yeah. And my mindset is always definitely I'm trying to be positive, which I think is it's just such a fun community to be a part of. Shout out to all of the positivity. Also, Nvidia, you want to keep doing something around 120. I will take you to the upside if you would like to come to me. Well,
yeah, shout out to the Fawns, obviously. Always asking for that Lambo trade. What are you trading today, Fawns? Let us know. Tag me in the chat. Let me know what you're trading. I'm keeping an eye on the Mag 7 here as we got yet another rejection off the volume-weighted average price on the NQ September contract, and that had Meta turning down as well as Amazon. And yeah, maybe a little bit of Nvidia as rejects again off that 20-period exponential on the 5-minute chart. I see you guys yelling about NXL, and you guys are absolutely warranted in yelling about it. HOD on NXL, 65% in the clear right now, $2.75. Believe it or not, we're still below the Friday aftermarket high. Look at that candle right there at 410. We all know why this run ran aftermarket. There is no halt perimeters after 4 o'clock in the same way that there are no halt perimeters prior to the bell at 9:30. So sometimes, not always, these small cap gappers will run afterwards because traders know that they can take them as high as they want without volatility halts. Now, you can still halt after hours if there's news pending, but volatility halts are suspended before and after the bell. Anyway, so that high of this candle over here at 4:10 p.m. on Friday got us into 290. So we are at 275 HOD right now. So that 290 obviously being done on lesser volume because it was being done in the aftermarket. However, this one hasn't skipped a beat. As you can see, it's really held its highs. It's maintained that level at 1 2/3 for whatever reason. That held on Friday during regular market hours. It held this morning generally in the pre-market as well. And then up we go again. Here comes 275 yet again. I don't think this one's done. Let me remind you what this one is all about. It is $20 million market cap. It's done 14.3 million shares on the day, and it's got 5.7 million share float. The company is engaged in designing, developing neurostimulation products for the mental health epidemic. So you got to love that kind of headline. You just hope that it's legitimate and it pans out. But $2.75, printing 272 right now. It's been an absolute dalliance with the 10 exponential on the 5. Every single closing print has been north of the 10 exponential since this one over here, 9:55 p.m. We broke down below it super quick there on a wick basis, and then up we went again, printing 270 right now, having trouble with a $0.75 Adara, as is NXL. But that's not the only one that's running, guys. There's plenty. MLGO just printed days highs, about 20% off, or 20 pennies, excuse me, off days highs. DJT still hanging out with that 10 exponential. There goes NXL through 275, and here comes that 290 print that we yapped about. It's going to break here, looks like. 284 now, 285 now, HOD on NXL. This one's really going, guys, and the volume is picking up on the small cap gapper. It's about to break that pre-market high. If it breaks it, sorry, not the pre-market high, the aftermarket high from Friday, if it breaks it, it's got that whole $1.03 looking right at it there, but alas, it is getting extended off that 10 exponential on the 5, and usually when it gets extended this far, it's a bit of a mean reversion before we can get back into it again. There goes that high, guys, 294 now, HOD, and now it tanks a little bit, 10 cents, not tanks, wrong word, retraces 10 pennies off that touch. Still looking at 3, though. 3 is going to be that whole dollar level we're going to be looking at for the break. Let's look quickly at the daily. Is this a former runner? Yes, it is. So this one had a lot of action back in March. As you can see there, sold off aggressively in April and in May, and now it's back, baby, and it wants to take out those highs that we printed back in early April, late March. That's $3.40. So that's a whole cool 40 pennies from where we're trading at right now, 294 HOD.
Yeah, I've been trying to, so many small caps. Literally, that was the first thing I said to Sharif today when he came back from his walk. I said, you will be so happy when you see these small caps. But yeah, so I am not so happy with the SPY over here. I was trying to short this. I was like, we have all these red candles. We're going to like test, I don't know why I'm doing a Valley Girl voice, but whatever. I was like, maybe like we'll test VWAP and then I'll have to get out. And the SPY was like, no, Adara, we're not going to do that. I was like, that's fine. I respect that. I want to see what we do here. If we break above the 90 MA, I am out. This is my second attempted SPY short. I took smaller size with this one. My entry point for the first short was not it. About 10 pennies on the money right now, risking, like I said, into this 546 area. If we keep rejecting, I'll be pleased as punch. We have been rejecting this area viciously. This probably, again, would have been a better entry for the short. This is not. you know, the entry might not have been a vibe, but you got to learn, you got to live, you got to try. And I do think, like, you know, as Gretzky said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And so I'd rather take things and have them not work out than, you know, not take it and wonder what if. And that's where I think the confidence definitely needs some improvement. There's stuff I see that I like, and I'll waffle on it too long and then you miss it. So especially in trading, especially if I'm trying to trade some of these more volatile things, you will miss things like in an instant if you don't go after them with that aggression, with that swiftness, with that viciousness, and you owe it to yourself to do that. So that's just, you know, a little bit of a note to self there. I think always, you know, I consider myself to be a positive person, but I think you want to be, want to have that positivity and that honesty there as well. And I think those two married together can make things happen. So that is my take there. We're going to be getting out of the SPY here though, because I think the SPY and I will have to say goodbye. But if you want to vote for the SPY or any other ticker, go in the chat right now. Exclamation point, join, space, $, whatever ticker you want. MSFT, Meta, Microsoft, NXL. Small caps too, they deserve love.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
so
Google, anything. Put that in the chat right now. And then you will get to vote for your ticker of choice. So SPY, if you want to flip long, don't mind if I do. How are you doing?
I like it. Neil said he looked up the meaning, the definition of dalliance. And so the first one, the first one that we get is a casual, romantic, or sexual relationship. That's not obviously what's being meant here. But below that, there you go, a brief, say that again, Neil? Yeah, a brief or casual involvement with something is the definition that I meant. And that's right below it there. So Berkeley was my last dalliance with the education system. Yeah, come on, it works, guys. Let's go. So dalliance word, we haven't hit this one, of the day. Guys, Apple just got into the 10 exponential in the first time in a little bit, and it's finding a bit of a footing right now. Where's my Apple chart? Okay, so we'll have to load one, no big deal. I'm hesitant to punch long on Apple at these levels here just because it's so extended, but it did get into the 10 exponential. It did wick below it super quick, held it, and now we've got a green candle forming. Alas, we have multiple lower high candles on the 5 minutes. So could we be getting a bit of a rounded top? Well, what do you expect when you get extended off the 10 period? You've got to put in lower highs and lower lows at least to catch up to the 10 period. So that wasn't, you know, all that surprising. And right back up we go again above that 212 into 15s. We go here on AAPL. I feel like I don't have a really great read on the market, to be honest with you today.
I feel that.
Yeah, well, you can't do it every day. Ponzi Fonzie, I was asking Pons what he was trading. He says goggles off 179 this AM dollar banger. Shout out to you, Pons, because right now, goggles, Google is what we mean by goggles, just got above the volume weighted average price at 179.90. It looks like it may be on its way into that 180 area. It had trouble with that area this morning, despite the fact that it almost got into 181. 180.89 is the IB high there, but keep your eye out on that. Great trade, Pons. Let me know how it goes. Goggles is headed up, but Meta, Amazon, and the Cybertruck all headed down, all showing some red candles on the 5 minute chart. And this makes me feel real bad here. I think I have like gun shyness today because I had a proper read today on Meta, but I didn't pull the trigger. I don't really know why. 503 and a third rejection all the way down into 501 and a half. So a VWAP rejection on Meta. However, higher low still in play. That hasn't changed. Keep your eye out for a possible 503 and a half break on a closing basis, and we could easily move up into 508. I wasn't really understanding why Meta was so strong today. The only real headline that I saw on Meta today was this possible relationship that there could be developing with Apple. Is this it?
I'm seeing some speculation that is the reason Meta.
Yeah, I mean, I guessed as well that it could be with Apple, but as I said to Brendo today at the Big Desk, that's not news for us. We already knew that Apple wanted to get Gemini, Anthropic, Llama. They want to have multiple different large language models as an option, not just ChatGPT. So to me, that wasn't news. The only kind of news part of it to me was, you know, these two companies doing business again after what Apple did to Meta a couple of years ago with the privacy restrictions. That absolutely tarnishes business, and it had to basically start anew. So yeah, that's really the only headline that today on Meta that I saw. Anyway, it had it breaking through 507, 508, right back down now below 503. So keep an eye on that. What else is moving here? Let's go back to some of these small cap gappers. Oh, GRDI. Okay, so let's just take your pick about which one wants to break out. NXL broke out. GRDI now breaking out. MLGO had its moment in the sun like about 5 or 6 minutes ago. So these small cap gappers, they're getting continuity today, Adair.
Yeah, you know what else is kind of getting continuity is this Tesla range.
Ooh.
Kind of a weird transition, but I stand by it. So I tried to go short Tesla. That happened, whatever, it's fine. We lost in that trade. I stood by that. I saw some stuff on this that I've seen in the past that sometimes indicates like a fake kind of triangle. And then the Tesla bull flag said, actually, Adara, I'm real. Unfortunately for your short, I am real. So I said, apologies, Tesla. I'll leave. I'll get out of the trade. It's all good. I was like, now maybe this is where the range really kicks in here. We bounce off 80s again on Tesla. This 80s area, for whatever reason, has been kind of odd. We've been rejecting it. We've been holding it. It's been a whole vibe. Right now, though, looks like we are rejecting. If Tesla, I'm not going to get involved in this right now. I was like down to get the long at 80s. Then I was unsure. Now Tesla is bouncing. So Kelpazar, we're going to wait. We're just going to wait and see what happens here. We're going to look at some other charts for some people, and then we'll see what we get on Tesla. Someone was mentioning IBM. IBM has been strong today. IBM had a nice little upgrade and a $200 price target. This is a nice look on this one.
I know that company. Did they used to make computers?
Yeah. Are you being sarcastic?
You know.
Well, I know IBM, but I'm not good at.
I know you're not.
It's because he's a good actor. He should get an Oscar, okay? Because I look at his face, I'm trying to study it, and like I'm doing like Larry David and Curb. I'm like studying his face, like what's going on, and then yeah, Sharif just sells it. But yeah, IBM bouncing off the 90 EMA and previous resistance here. This is gorgeous on the 5-minute chart. This 177 area. This IBM, this was resistance earlier, coming back to 10:05. Then, support at 10:05. Then it's resistance here at the start of the show around 11:15. Then we're trying to bounce. So actually, I love this IBM look. Shout out to anyone involved in this. Only 4-penny range, which for IBM, not a bad look at all. Kyle Burdett, thank you so much to the $2 super chat. Big Kyle Burdett. BTC year-to-date anchor at 592. Oh. AMD 163. Look left. Let's take a look here at this AMD. Shout out to Brad Gober, who earlier said he got that 163 from AMD. Shout out to you. That was a nice little short. I tried to get this long bounce here at 162.40. I was not confident or confident enough. I waited a second too long and it bounced like 25 pennies. But yeah, I see what you mean here. Be Kyle Burdett, we certainly had that sell-off earlier at 163. Now we're bouncing around this 163 area. If we break below 163, there could be some scalp opportunities. That is for sure. But right now, this AMD has just been a gorgeous uptrend, up 1 1/5% right now on the day. Also, Tesla. I said Tesla, I'd revisit you. I am still in a state of perplexity, not perplexity AI, just perplexity. I want to wait and see here Tesla at this 185 because this has been a spicy little area. There's something here. I know there's something here. I don't know what it is, so I owe it to myself to study it until I figure out what move I want to make on this TSLA.
I respect that.
Thank you.
I'm putting a short here on Nvidia at 121.50. It's about $1 away from where we are now. We're putting in higher lows. The reason I'm doing that, there's a couple reasons. One, I like this area trough right over here. That was the 945, 950 trough. It also is jiving with the volume weighted average price. So if we get into that, depending on whether VWAP is still there, I'm going to leave that one hanging out quite there. I'm also looking at Apple finally, and I'm looking to take a trade here on the dead one at 212.25. Generally that area. Why? Because that's where the 20 period's hanging out. We've been doing the dalliance today with the 10 period. Finally, we're breaking down, at least looks like for the moment, below the 10 period on the 5 on a closing basis. If we do, I like my chances with the 20. We'll see whether, number one, it comes in or it does one of those like bottoming tail candles that doesn't quite make it down into the 20 and I end up getting shafted. So we'll see. Those are the two trades I'm setting up for right now. Short on Nvidia, long on Apple, both retracement trades, but that is my look. Shout out to Big Kyle Burdett. BTC, that 59,200 is year-to-date anchored VWAP. Thanks for that, Kyle. AMD 130, look left on a bigger time frame, 30-minute multiple days. Oh, that you already read that one. My bad.
Yeah,
I didn't
look at it. I didn't realize what you meant. They're like on a wider time frame, so I can look at that AMD in a 30-minute here.
Yeah, it's at high days, no?
Yeah,
Isn't it at high days?
Oh, I have that.
I'll pull it up. Don't worry about it. You're
yeah,
trading.
no, it is at high of days here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think to me, this 162, what is this, 162.75 level is kind of interesting. Right now, though, AMD is at high of days. We've generally been on a bit of a downtrend, though I think we're trying to break it here with this push up into high.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So, Brendel just sent me a message. Zoom, OpenAI buys video conferencing startup. How? No way. Brendel, is that for real?
What?
What? Hold on. Let's pull this up. ZM. Okay.
Zoom into the downside on this.
Yeah, it is.
Volume.
I don't have it yet, but here's what Brendo sent. Here it is, guys. ZM, OpenAI buys video conferencing startup Multi-Information. Okay, we're gonna have to load that up because it is coming back down now. Say that again, Katina Man. Katina Man thinks it's a competitor of Zoom. Yeah, you're not wrong, Katina Man, because I don't see it on my blotter yet, but if Brendo says it is what it is, then we'll take it. 58.90 right now, HOD on ZM, all the way down into 57.83. It looks like it's selling off on the news. Again, I don't have eyes on this myself. Let's put in the ticker ZM right there. The volume being done on Zoom, 1.33 million so far, so not a ridiculous amount of volume. What is the 5-year rolling average? I don't have it for whatever reason. There we are at day's low as we speak right now on ZM. So big move down here, and we're below Friday's low. Keep your eye out on the IB low from Friday. The IB low from Friday is at 57.75. We're very close to that level right now. We printed 57.83. That low is the IB low from Friday. Keep your eye out on that. The closing print from Friday is 58.88 or thereabouts. I believe Neil is ready though, so we can.
Yeah, we're gonna have to switch to the lesson of the day.
Welcome to the lesson of the day. Time of the day matters, and I think when you're looking at trades at different times of the day, you want to have a little bit of a different approach. And I want to sort of discuss like the dip buy at the open versus the dip buy a little bit later on in the session, and how you might want to approach things a little differently if you are looking for those key dips. And when I say the open, I don't mean necessarily in the first half an hour. I'm talking about that literal first couple of minutes. Maybe that even, if you have a 3-minute chart up, which I use, you can be talking about that first candle. If you're looking at a 5-minute, maybe that first 5 minutes. Anything past 15, I think you're starting to establish a bit of a range, and I think there can be a little bit of a difference. But if you are making trades based on key price levels like support and resistance, the time of the day that it approaches it could matter to your execution strategy. Now, this isn't going to be true for everybody. I can promise you it's true for myself. And I'm going to use the example. I'm going to use a couple of examples. I feel like they're all going to be in the chip space. So if you're not into looking at charts of chip names, then look elsewhere. So Micron today, there were several good reversals. When you talk about a stock going into a dip buy and eventually catching bids, it's trend down, but it was gapping up. Certainly a strong name. There's a lot of places to look. I mean, the previous close sits in here at the 40 level. The first even dollar was 41, where there was actually a lot of pre-market resistance turning into support. So let's look at those two levels and examine the difference between them, because I think it's going to be obvious when you just look at this chart. The first 3-minute candle, this dip, is a single wick to that first key level at 141. When I talk about that initial first minute or the first few minutes candle, off your level, sometimes you're just looking for rubber band action. I feel like that time for the complete rubber band trade, and I'm talking you get in off of that bid with a tight stop, and it should work right away like a breakout trade almost would. That's the initial dip buy to me. The one where it's going into the first possible level. If buyers step in, you ride that first coattail. It's usually a lot of scalp trade. Maybe you hold on for the dream in case that's the absolute bottom. But you're not looking for it to hang down there too long on that first move. Because if it's consolidating down there right away on the initial candle, a lot of times that can go against you. I want it snapping off of that. And if you get it, great. If you don't, I don't usually like revisiting that level. Unless later on in the session, I'm going to want some consolidation, right? Like later on, I think I want to look a little bit longer for a confirmation move, like when it comes down to 140. This is now close to 10 o'clock. You actually get a break of the 140 level that holds on to what was Friday afternoon support, gets about 30, 40 cents down, you have 5, maybe 6 or 7 minutes down beneath the 140 before you reestablish that to the upside. That's a very different trade. And if it does that same thing at right away in the first candle, a lot of times right up here, I'm going to be more patient. Like if it's hanging around and consolidating, I might look for a higher low. I want that to work right away. But when you get a little bit later on in the session, I'm going to allow it to come into the level and try and catch it on the way out. Now, I made the mistake in this case of canceling my bid, but then not being fast enough to get it on the other side. So it broke the 140. I'm looking for it to hold the higher low. It puts in the higher low. I tried grabbing it on the way back up. When it broke this local high, didn't get it. But that's a very different trade from just sitting out there, maybe 10 cents in front of an even dollar level, and then your stop is if it breaks 141 right in that initial candle. So it's a little bit of a difference. I think the longer you get in terms of how far you've gone from the open, the longer I want to see some consolidation or confirmation of the trade. And it bodes right back into the next level that it takes out to the downside. And it's just another example here. It makes a fresh break of the low, comes into the 138, there's your break, there is your consolidation one more time. You have to give it a little bit more time. I don't think past that 10 o'clock or open range that you just want to sit there, unless it's a ridiculous level. Sometimes you get like a $100 level on a stock or a $10 level or something along those lines, where maybe you just stick it out in front of the even dollar with a 2-3 cent stop and say, so be it. But that's not the kind of thing here when you're in the middle for Micron. I think you want to let these levels set up later on in the day. Be willing to not sit on the bid. But when it reestablishes itself, you get confirmation on the second candle. On the third candle, it can break it back out here, or you can try taking it when it holds a higher low on the third candle, and then you're working to the upside. So it's not always about, I like the level, I'm just going to sit at it. I think your execution strategy can matter. Another example I want to use here is AMD. It's a very similar thing. AMD's been a strong stock, but I've actually been shorted, and thankfully we're shorted at the right levels. I mean, obviously, you can kind of see that. We set it out when it didn't hold VWAP. We waited for it to make a high up here at 62. But it's the actual dips I want to look at. Early on, first initial dip right at the open. It wicks the pre-market low. This little tiny wick in here, and then breaks out the top. So immediately, you have that rubber band action the first time. It tries the consolidation the second time through. And if you were looking long here, there's your consolidation bottom. Breaks the bottom. I was short it, getting some out at the bottom. But it breaks the bottom and then holds for about 5 or 6 minutes before coming back into VWAP. The next wick, a little bit of a failed breakdown. Thankfully, I was able to get out. But again, look at the higher low consolidation. On a 3-minute, that's 1, 2, 3 times you're able to, on a 3-minute chart, get that higher low. That's not happening usually for you at that open. But if you're patient enough looking for that long, you have a wipeout bottom there. There's your consolidation bottom. A similar thing happens at the absolute low. Again, another high low, but 1, 2, 3. Later on in that session, be willing to sit there and stare at that stock. If you like the dip buy, be willing to sit there. It gets to your level. It could take 5 or 6 minutes to give you the confirmation that you want at 11 o'clock or at 12 o'clock. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think when you're impatient at those times of day, you're going to hurt yourself. And I'll give you one that isn't the chip name. And this had nothing to do with impatience. It just had to do with me not being at my seat. I want to look at Affirm. Because Affirm was dips, but not into lows. It was after that opening breakout. So this one broke it out. But each dip after it made that move, like look at how long comparatively, this is trending up, not trending down. So it's breaking out and consolidating here. But that's 3 bars, consolidation. That's 2, that's 3. When it breaks VWAP for this curl, look at the level of patience you almost need to find that long. It holds from 10:27 to just past 11 o'clock. That's over a half an hour it makes a rounded bottom before consolidating for 15 minutes to then break out. So the later in the session, the more patience you need for those plays. Early on at 9:30, rubber band, great. Take that quick snap trade, no problems. But later on when it gets to your price level, be willing to wait it out for that confirmation. Sit there staring at the stock for your trade to materialize, for your level to hold, or for your level to break. That patience is going to reward you in the long run. So early, you can have a little bit of quick in and out if you're a day trader. But as the session goes on there, you've got to adjust to the way the market is slowing itself down. You slow yourself down. That's your lesson of the day.
Shout out to Neil. Thank you very much, Neil. Informative, eloquent, and yes, the most important one, awesome. As always, Neil Roberts, every day, guys, around noontime. There it is. There it is. He's pointing at his brain, too. I like it. It's indicative of what's going on. Yeah, it is. Seriously. Shout out to Neil, guys. No, seriously, every day he's dropping his lesson around noon hour. If you're into that kind of thing, catch Neil every day at around noon. All right, I'm long Apple. I'm long Apple off 211. I've got 91s. I wet my beak there for a 20 penny winner at 10s. I'm holding the remaining amount. Let's see if we can bounce a little bit here on AAPL. It's been by far the strongest name in Mag 7 world. However, there's another competitor coming into the foray, and it goes by the name Meta. It's up now 1.43, Apple down off that 2% into 1.7, so getting close there percentage-wise with Apple and Meta. I'm long, gonna hold my entry essentially into my break, into the end. Gonna hold my long into my entry. I'll get it right. If it breaks down below 91s, that's really gonna be the end of that trade. On AAPL. Not much going on in my world other than this trade. I'm keeping my eye on AMZN though. It's getting back into the low of day at generally 187, 186 and change, or sorry, 186.90 and change, I believe is a low. And if we get into there, I want to see if we find some support at that level. That is the IB low. Or is that the IB low? No, it isn't. That's not the IB low. It's an hour after the open. So yeah, that is the low of the day, though. Let's have a look quickly at the small cap gappers before we check and see what Adara is trading and then start the lesson of the day. GRDI off highs. MLGO has been fantastic off that 10 exponential. So if you've been into that thing, good for you guys. Here it is. Here is the multi is joining OpenAI. So there it is. What is this? Okay, so multi is joining OpenAI. What if a desktop computer were inherently multiplayer? What if the operating system placed people in equal footing to apps? Those were the questions. Okay, I'll have to read this after Brendan sent me this. I thought it had something to do with the Zoom acquisition of the acquisition by OpenAI of Zoom. I'll have to read it a little bit more right now. But yeah, that's the look. What are you looking at?
I'm an AMD, and I don't. Okay. So basically, this AMD, I want to start out Kyle Burdett because you were definitely right about that being a short there, Kyle. I wanted to get involved because initially we rejected this 90 EMA. I like that look. The issue is we had a rejection. I got on the retest of the rejection, which is why I now think my timing on this was highly suspect. I think the level was fine. I think if I wanted to scalp 10 pennies on that initial move down, that would have been fine. Now, though, I think I have made an error. I wanted to get, if we wake up the 70s, I'm out, it's fine. But the timing has just not been my friend today. But you know what is my friend? Positivity and finding new opportunities. As Obi always says, where's the next trade? I don't know, but I'll try to find it. I've made a bit of a mess of Tesla, but Tesla's still chopping, churning. I think there is something there, that 185.20 area. Tried to take it long, and then Tesla said, no, Adara, not yet, or not right now. So I don't even know. We're just keeping an eye on some stuff. That is for sure. But you know what else? If you have a ticker you're keeping an eye on.
Yes.
You're good. Sharif always knows I'm going to do the transition here now.
Yes.
But yeah, like, Sharif will help. Sharif is there if you want to look at tickers on the green screen.
Yeah, guys, just get into the chat, hit that exclamation point, type in that word join, hit that space bar, baby, then shift 4 for the dollar sign. And then, yeah, choose a ticker of your choice. If you're into small cap gappers, go ahead and vote for those small cap gappers. If you want to see the banger that the Katina man had on Micron and Nvidia, go vote for Micron and Nvidia. If you don't vote, you don't get a say. It's that simple. We do that every day from 2 to 2:30 on the afternoon run now. Go Apple. We're 40 pennies in the money here on the dead one, AAPL, as it's moving into that 211 and a third. I'm looking for the $0.50 because that's where the 10 exponential is hanging out. If we can get anywhere near that $0.50, we'll just cover the remaining amount that we have left. Into the 30s it goes. I'm waiting for the mid 40s, and then we're gonna flatten out on AAPL. Decent recovery right now. 2 green candles, nothing to write home about on this trade. The market also right above 19.9. Not like that's really a level that I was charting, but it is the 100-point level. We need to be cognizant of it, even though on a day like this where it's been very sideways, zigzaggy, you're a little bit above 19.9, you're a little bit below 19.9. Let me show you exactly what I mean here on the chart. This is the NQ September contract. We've had a downward slope. You don't need to be a super chartered market technician to see the lower lows or the lower highs. However, intraday, at least since 11 o'clock, we've been very zigzaggy after troughing out there at 19,821. It's been zigzagging a little bit higher, a little bit lower. So nothing really to write home about there on the futures and the Mag 7. But MLGO is going, guys, and really we need to start pulling up MLGO here because, quite frankly, it's been one hell of a day for it. And Donald John Trump is very close to day's highs right now, up 25%. 34.80. We just printed that high, and here it comes again. Look at this bottoming tail candle on the 5 into 34.50. Donald John Trump is going here, breaking through that initial high that we made at 1040. Obviously, we know that there's umpteen amount of resistance levels above this because it was selling off for close to a month. This is what I'm talking about over here. There's been an aggressive sell-off essentially since the end of May. And it looks like we bottomed out a skosh above that 23 area that we bottomed out in mid-April. This time we held 25, so it looks like that's possibly another higher low there. DJT doing things, Adara, up into that high day, 25%.
Yeah, I wish it was JDT so I could say just doing things, but it's doing something. Also doing something, I love what you said about the Qs being top and turned sideways. I had just hopped into a short on that impetus. On the TQs, we're below the 90 MA, which I know, charting levels on the futures is not always going to be a thing. I understand that, I respect that. I was like, okay. But I saw in the book, I was like, we're having a heck of a time trying to hustle above the 73.70 area. So I said it there, risk it into below VWAP, but also these lower highs. So if we didn't break above this 73.75, I was fine. That's risking like 11 pennies. I can live with that. What I want to see here, you might be asking Adara, what's the end goal for this? What's the Avengers end game for this trade? Well, the end game for this trade, okay, I like this. I'm going to take out some just above 50s. I can live with that. I will have all that smoke, but the smoke I really want, if we make a lower low below 73.40s. I'm aware that might be a tall order, might be a bit of a tall glass of water there, tall sip of milk for, I don't know what I'm saying, for TQs, but that's what I'm looking for. For some reason, it really wants that 73.60s area. I'm like, TQs, I will take 5 pennies if that's all you'll give me, by all means. But I'd like a little bit more. So I'm looking at that, still looking at Tesla, happy I did not take that Tesla short because that pushed higher. Yeah, just waiting to see what my options are, but right now, happy in this trade.
Where's your bag?
Oh, yeah.
Want to shout Big Patty Iceman and his brother Anthony. The dude, just brought a whole, I don't know how many chocolates, Ram. There's got to be hundreds in this thing. They're all Lindor. There's some other stuff as well. Shout out to Anthony from Liquidation Event. Check him out on the gram. He got some for the Katina Man. He got some for Brendo, Neil. I know, Neil obviously trying to watch what he eats a little bit because of the injury, this, that, and the other. So I might have to take it off his hands. Who knows? Maybe he's got kids at home, obviously, probably want it. So shout out, Anthony. Thank you very much, my friend, for that gift. And I'm sure I speak for the entire floor when I say that. So.
Also, there's a super chat from D. Westermeyer directed at you.
D. Sharif, I'm up 10% on Donald John Trump. My rule is sell at 10%. Can't offer any criticism of that. If that's a rule that you follow, kill it. Shout out to you, D. Westermeyer. We miss you around here, man, and hope to see you soon. Shout out to the Midwest as well, because I know you're from there. So kill it on that. It behooves us to load up Donald John Trump, maybe, beside one of these names. So let's load up DJT over here in case it starts squeezing. Again, guys, we know that the presidential debate is this Thursday. So look, for some volatility in this name as we inch closer to that time. Definitely recovering a little bit today, or much more than a little bit, 25 some odd % there. So keep an eye on that. I'm very close to getting out of my Apple trade here. The recovery here looks awfully anemic. In fact, it looks as if this was a 2-candle pullback that you'd want to get in short on, right? So if you miss this initial short entry, this is where I would get back in. So I think this is a short now on AAPL. It's about a bit of a counter trend trade here because definitely Apple is strong on the day. So I'm going to end my Apple trade if I can find the trading screen for Apple right here. We'll end up break even on the remaining amount. Actually, we'll make 10 pennies on the remaining amount there. But what I'm looking for here on the dead one Apple is a break of 82. 210.82. That is the local area low that we printed at 12.05. We get a break below 80.82 on a closing basis. I'm taking the short, and my profit target will be around 210 where VWAP is. So we're not going to hold this thinking we're going to make it all the way back down to low day. But the point of the matter is this looked like a very anemic pullback. It doesn't look like it's a trend up at that point. This looks as if the winds of change have come. And then you get a 2-candle retracement on the way down, and then you print a newer low. So all we really need to wait for to get in is a newer low. So I'll be looking for something below 210.80, and then I will be looking to short AAPL at those levels. Not much else going on here. I know you were talking about 185 on Tesla. How's that looking?
Yeah, Tesla, I've kind of been letting Tesla chop and churn. Because I've gotten a little bit too chop and churn in Tesla. Tesla is by far winning the contest for worst name of the day for me. So, and like, we know that doesn't bother me. That does not faze me. If I see stuff I like, I'll get involved. Right now, though, I need to wait for Tesla to sort itself out at that 185, because you're right, I have been talking about that 185, and for good reason. It's been bamboozling as heck. Like, look at this 185. We chop, we churn, we go up and down. It looks like it's going to go one direction. It goes the other direction. Shout out to the band One Direction. But yeah, so it's like, I don't have enough of a rate on this right now. I think we're curling up on the 90 EMA, but every time I try to take a long, Tesla says, no, no, no. I do want to shout out Kyle Burdett. Thank you. It's not a super chat, but thank you so much for that. I will say thank you for the super chat. It's a chat. Thank you so much to Kyle Burdett, as always, for your support and your participation in the chat. He's saying, Disney, I got stopped out in the short and a pullback before it went really well. It doesn't just happen to you. Got 15 cents. Looks like I left a buck on the table. Thank you so much for saying that. I appreciate all your participation, all your honesty. I appreciate everyone's honesty in the chat. And that's why I always like to be 100% upfront and honest, because I think that's, everyone's going through the same struggles.
Oh, yeah.
So thank you so much, Kyle, for sharing that opinion there, and for all of your participation in the chat, and for everyone's participation in the chat right now. And again, I want to shout out Kyle as well, because he mentioned that AMD short earlier. I had an AMD long earlier, tried to go short. The timing on that was bad on my part, but now I'm taking the short because we're decisively below the 90 EMA. I said if we break above 162.50s, that's where I get out. We get to 162.49s, and we can't get above it. So AMD, I'm not done with you quite yet. I got involved at 33s because I was watching in the book. That was a level I was okay with. But it looks like now this actually might be flipping from resistance to support, as happens quite frequently. But yeah, I really want to shout out Kyle Burdett for that comment, because it reminds you, these things happen to everyone. Like, you have ideas, they don't work out, and you just got to keep going and finding new ideas. That's one of the fun parts of trading. It can be really frustrating, but it's like, how do you deal with that setback? And I think this chat is one really cool way of doing that.
No question about it. And not just that, too. Like, we've got a bunch of trading screens. You have your side charts. I have my scanner, my side charts, my watch list. There's only so much we can see. And that's what the other beautiful thing about the chat is. They're constantly putting in things that you don't have eyes on. So can't agree more. I got to echo that sentiment. Shout out to the chat, undefeated. And yeah. So just took a nice 15 penny winner there on AAPL as we got short right at the break of 82s as we talked about. I'm holding this from 77s. We're down into the low 60s here. Look, call me crazy, but I'm going to be waiting for that low 210s. I want some sort of VWAP touch, retracement, this, that, or the other. Breaking down below the 20 exponential and 211 in no man's land there with really nothing to hold us up. So we'll see what we get. We won't get upset, but I'm going to try to pack my patience here. Where's my out on a stop? So you know what my profit target is. It's in the low 210s. Where's my out on a stop? So it's a really good question. I'm going to be out if it breaks 211 again. It's really got a trend down here. It already had the 2-candle retracement, 2-candle green retracement on the 5, and if it pops back up, then this trade is not right. So if we get a 211 break, that's it. Going to cut this trade, but already de-risked for a nice 20 penny winner. But look, right back. So now 10 pennies out of the money as Apple puts in a hammer candle right there. An inverse doji. Sorry, not an inverse. What am I talking about here? I'm talking bottoming tail candle. I'll get it right, guys. Bottoming tail candle through that 210.63 and into the 90s we go. So we're already 13 pennies out of the money for the last little bit. Breaks 211s, I'm out. So keep an eye on that. What else we got over here? Google has been inching its way into 180 for a little bit of time now with no success. It obviously broke 180 a little earlier on. Since that time, though, we've been having a lot of trouble closing in on that 180 level, but yeah, getting one rejection after another. The highest point we've been at since the opening balance high was 1220 when we got into 98s, I believe. So awfully close into that 220 area, or sorry, that 180 area on Google. Sorry, I'm just a little bit distracted with this Apple short that I have. So I'm going to pack my patience with this one. The stop is already in place through the out, for the out, through the break of 211. Yeah, that's the look there. Let's flip back into some of the other small cap gappers. Okay, MLGO finally taking a bit of a breather. Geez Louise, it was rocketing to the high side. Now, look, you've had wicks below the 10 exponential on MLGO, but they've all been on a wick basis. If this closes the way it is right now, it's south of 8. It's going to be the first one that closes red south of the 10 exponential. So what's a move? Well, you could try to, test your luck, I guess, with 7 2/3. I do happen to like that 7 2/3 area. It is a 20 exponential as well as this crest top over here. So if 7 2/3 comes in, you may not have to wait long because we're in the low 80s. This could be an interesting long here. 3 red candles in a row right now on the 5-minute chart on MLGO. But it's been very strong on the day. All right, ever since Apple put that bottoming tail candle in, it put another lower high. So I'm going to pack my patience with this one. We're break even on this one, and I'm seeing lower highs come in, especially if that 211 rejection holds. I'm going to pack my patience for at 210. Obviously, I don't want it to come to 210 as a long-term holder, but this is an intraday trade, and we're going to have to take what we get.
Yeah, so for the intense, staring there, guys, AMD is being deeply fascinating. So I like the short. After a couple tries, I realized that maybe not, lost a couple pennies on each. It wasn't like crazy losses or anything. Then I was about to flip long. I was like, let's flip long, right? Let's flip long. Then AMD jumps 20 pennies. And I said, thank goodness I'm not in the shorts. You gotta always find that the silver lining in things, right? And then I was like, okay, great. I'm not gonna get the long. Then AMD sells off and then comes right back to 162.70s. This stock is, it's an AM doozy. That's all I have to say to you in the book and on the chart. So I'm going to leave that be. It looks like there is a lot of support here at that 162.40. So we're going to have to wait and see. This is not one I'm comfortable getting involved in right now, again, unless I see something else I like here, because there's just so much wiffle waffling at that 162.60. It's reminding me of Tesla around that 185 that I'm like, I just want to wait and see it sort itself out. Tesla continuing to dance on this 9 EMA beautifully. You know what? Last time I liked this and tried to get involved in the long, I got burned. But last time does not have to mean this time. Where's the next trade?
Ooh.
Where is the next trade?
I like it.
Tesla, it might be you. It might be a low. I'm always short biased, and I find I feel like where my trades get dicier is where I try to take long sometimes, which again, that might be a manifestation of my short bias. But let's wait and see how this goes. I've noticed that 185.20 has been a really weird miniature intermittent support resistance area. So I want to be cognizant of that. See what is happening here. Yeah, because 1320 Wolf saying Tesla looks like long if you like the moving averages. So I think that could be a look. I just want to wait and see, because every time I feel that, Tesla's like, no, Adara, I am not along here. Just wait. I don't know why I gave Tesla that voice. I'm going to look at Lilly here as well, because a couple people mentioning Lilly in the chat, including, I believe, IK. A couple people there looking at Lilly. Lilly's beautiful. Last week we had that news with, I think it was an update with Lilly and that tirzepatide, which is their weight loss drug. So great look here, dancing on the 9 EMA beautifully. Volume over a milli, spread of almost $1. So I don't love that spread, but Lilly looking gorgeous on this 9 EMA, pushing above the 904 area. Cool, $19 right now, so far up in the day, getting a gorgeous volume candle bounce. Shout out to anyone who's long this name. Eli Lilly, volume above a milli, lost the volatility in this name to the upside. So
upside
there. I miss making Eli Lilly puns. So thank you guys always when you give me the opportunity to look up my old pal. Lilly.
Of course.
How's Amazon going?
Good. I don't know why I'm not showing on the board that I'm short the Zon. I'm short at 81s. I'm not sure what's going on, Ram. It's got my Apple one properly, but not showing my Amazon trade. I'm short at 81s. I'm looking to cover at 69s. It's a simple, well, it's not a simple trade. Well, maybe it is. But the precipice for getting in was a 20-period exponential rejection. It's been rejecting all day on AMZN. The 20-period has been kind of a line in the sand. You saw initially when we got up into the 20-period for the first time on the day, big topping tail candle there. Then you get a 3-candle rejection, and now we got another one over here. So we'll see if we can print at 69s, and yes, we do. We get that print, and down we go again here on the Zon. So covering a little bit there. Let's see if we can get some continuity. All right, go Apple. So Apple back into the lows again. I was kind of confident in this trade, but yeah, you never really know how these are going to go. Let's see if we can get something at the 50s. I think maybe, well, I don't want to change my goal. No, I set 210. I set lower 210s. I'm just thinking out loud over here. I think lower 210s is probably a little ambitious because it's up a lot on the day, so we'll see if we get that. Amazon right back out of the money on this one again, so 6 pennies out of the money as it comes right back into that 188 area, still south of the 20-period exponential. So don't want to cover this too quickly, but yeah, if it breaks 188, I already have my stop amount there. Looks like, you know, some of these shorts on the market just don't have follow through. That's just kind of my feeling today with some of them. So gonna hold both these positions, see if I can extract a little bit more profit. Both profitable so far, the Zon short and the Apple short, both printing at the moment. But yeah, Apple right back into my entry again, my goodness. So yeah, gonna have to pack the patience there. Ahmed, my only long-term OKLO is dancing. That's your only long-term? Okay.
I love that.
All right. Hey man,
Shout
if
out.
the dude's printing, he's printing, right?
Shout out. Print.
Yeah, it is. Let's show them what Oklo looks like, Ram. Here is OKLO, and here's a daily look on it. So this was obviously a SPAC. You can always tell when the price hugs $10 like it did here for a long time. Then it de-SPACed. You can usually tell when it de-SPACs based on the price action. So OKLO. Let's look at what this one has been doing as of late. Highs at 19. Lows at, say, 7, defended 7. Double top, obviously, at 19. Bit of a seller there. Lower highs since the Huadunk. It's been putting in lower highs, 13, then 12, then the 11s. Bit of a range, higher lows, but lower highs as well. I hope you print, Ahmed. No question about it. Tell me where your position started, and we'll shout you out. So, hope you print.
Yeah, shout out there. And thank you very much for the super chat. Tesla, I had a long. The whole plan was I was going to try to take this even longer here. I got long 185.05 because we had these higher lows. But then I was going to get 185.16s. That was going to be my out. We can't get to 16s. I say, Adara, take your 13s, then try to flip short. The second I punch in short, little Miss Tesla here goes up to 185.30s. I said, why? How? Yeah, I mean, the bamboozlement is real. I'm happy I tried. I saw stuff I liked. I had a reason to try. And honestly, be getting another topping tail candle, the impetus for the short for me is still here. I just want to make sure I'm making trades that like also, you know, honor like, the buying power, risk management, all that stuff, right? So we might have to chill out a little bit on this Tesla as much as I do really, really like this look. I've been saying this Tesla was a short here off this level for many moons. So it'd be a little bit depressla if I don't get to take it. But you always want to make sure you're taking things responsibly as well, right? So let's see what we do here. This has just been deeply bamboozling. I just want Tesla to pick a lane, pun intended, because it's a car. Accidental pun. That was real. I always really enjoy those. Yeah, those are good. We're gonna have to wait and see what Tesla does, because every time I think I have a read on it, Tesla's like, no, we're reading a different book over here. Nvidia. This is really fascinating. I'm seeing a lot of different opinions on Nvidia in different directions.
The Katina man just shorted more.
Oh, I was gonna say I like the Nvidia short here with that little topping tail candle. That's a nice look. I want to see if we get back to 121, maybe 121 can do something for me.
The Katina man just shorted 121.30 like 3 minutes ago.
Nice.
He added more, I'm assuming, on the VWAP. What was that? Brand new position.
Nice.
He still got Micron $3 in the money, by the way, guys. Micron, big day today. Like one of the only green names in chip world at an AMD.
Yeah, I mean, Micron also does have earnings coming up on Wednesday, so those could be spicy, along with Levi and BlackBerry. So those Wednesday earnings are if you like semiconductors, you're in luck. If you like former meme runners and Canadian companies, you're in luck. If you like jeans, you're in luck. So that could be a fun earnings day for everyone. I got short Nvidia 120.88. I want to see what this 121. Yeah, I appreciate it. I hope we all get down because you and I are all in the Meg 7 shorts. Let's hope we get down here. We're gonna do the dance here for that.
The get down
Nvidia
dance.
is not. Yeah, Nvidia does not like the get down dance. I'm flat in the position now, but hopefully Nvidia will grow to love this dance. Because I think that we could get a little bit more downside. I really like that 90 MA. The way I trade, I'm going to be watching to see what we do at the 90 MA. I know this is like not a massive trade or anything, but I have to honor myself and also just honor risk management and buying power and all that. So we'll have to see what we do here. I still want to take trades I like. I think I owe it to myself to do that. So let's see if Nvidia ends up being a trade that I love.
All right, just covered the rest on Apple as it broke down into the mid 50s, covered at 54s, decent short off that 211 drop. So keeping an eye on the dead one Apple. I'm still short on the Zon. We're about 10 pennies in the money on Amazon. I've already wet my beak on some profits at 69s. I'm now going to wait in the low 50s. I think Amazon's not going to reject as swiftly as it rejected earlier on when it moved into the 20. It is a less liquid time of day. It's 12:30, a little after that. So, the rejections as well as the ascents not as aggressive. So I've already put my stop in. My stop in is the break of 188. It breaks out on a closing basic, Gonzino. So we'll keep an eye out on that. John Del Segno, OVV was the second largest hedge fund purchase across all 13 Fs. It's building a big technical base RSI and an ugly-ish bull flag, but looks like a possible nice swing. Let's have a look at OVV for our friend John. Let's pull it up over here. OVV. Just to give everyone an idea, likely spam. Thank you for calling me spam. All right, OVV. You're not the spam. All right, daily chart. Here's the look on the daily OVV. Not far off, local highs. Local high 63. We're printing 47 today. It's not one of those ones that topped out in the pandemic. Then it was bam, wham, bam. See you later. Here's the 4-hour look. A bit of a sell-off, obviously. That local high at 56. What was John's look on that? So 13 Fs. Okay, big technical base RSI and ugly-ish bull flag. What are you looking at, John? What time frame? Let's look at the 5 over here. Okay, so he's looking at the intraday time frame. Yep, that's not an ugly bull flag, dude. I would say that's nice. The only thing that I could, want a little bit more on this look is for support to hold at VWAP rather than the 20. But you see over here, it definitely bounced off the 20, broke the IB high, and printed new highs, 47.12. Great look. There's a headline on this today. Not that I see, and nothing really. They're all technical breakouts, so nothing really to talk about there. Look, John, it's a great look on the day. If you didn't take that 20-period retracement off the yellow solid line, then what you did, or I don't know if you did, but what you could have done was take a 10-period retracement because it really respected the 10 subsequent to that. So goes without saying, I hope you break. Get down, Apple. All right, here I'm waiting in the low 50s. Come, there we go. Nice trade. All right, they're on, sorry, that's not Apple, that's Amazon. Sorry, I don't even know that. Yeah, whatever. We just took 30 pennies there on AMZN on another 20-period exponential retracement. It comes into that yellow line, and then wham, bam, thank you, yellow line, and then we head up down again. So one rejection, 1120, 3 rejections between 1135 and 1145, and yes, another 3 rejections here, 1230, 1235, and there's the breakdown candle that just manifested right now at 1240. Get down, Amazon. This is one hell of a bear flag there, guys, in case you're wondering. This is what a bear flag looks like. Flip that upside down, it looks like a bull flag. So yeah, great look for the bears today on the market. Now, the dead one is Apple, excuse me, because no one's gonna understand what I'm talking about when I say dead one about Apple anymore. 210 incoming, 42 pennies away, and it's not just the $10 level that's there. VWAP hanging out at 210 on Apple. We initially had a couple of candle rejections here at 210 to be expected at the $10 level. That is until we took it out at 10 to the hour there at 10:50. We broke well above that 210 level, going all the way uninterrupted into 210 and 3/4. We're right back into that 210 and a half, a skosh above the volume weighted average price. If we get into 210, decisions have to be made here as to whether you're taking this long, because it is strong on the day. It's stronger than the bunch around it for whatever reason. And, you know, we'll see if it can catch its footing at that volume weighted average price 210 level. Pack my patience, find out. John goes on to say, yeah, only thing I didn't like about the flag was that it looks blown out, AKA didn't blast. Yeah, look, John, I mean, it's not a bad look. Here's talking about OVO. It's not a bad look. And besides, you just printed above 47 again. You're 2 pennies off high a day, excuse me, not days. You know, and the fact that you didn't blast probably has something to do with the fact that it lacks a catalyst. But the fact of the matter is it held up off the 10 exponential, so there was buyers there. So I like the look, John. I said irregardless. And people are like, that's not a word.
I fought for you, though. I said it was a word, and we were right.
And it depends on which dictionary you look at. Some say it is, some say it isn't. But anyway,
it is.
It's immaterial.
You reloaded.
There you go. What do you reloaded, Katina, man? Nvidia or Micron? He just took another 50 cents in 13 seconds. Shout out to the Katina, man. We all saw the banger. What? Yeah, he's short at 121. So let's look at Nvidia over here, because it has been doing the dance with no pants with the volume weighted average price. 121.36 is where VWAP is hanging out. And as you can see here, it has not been above the volume weighted average price since 10:10 this morning. So it's been a short the pops kind of day on NVDA as it struggles to maintain its price above 120 Adara. Anything you're looking at before we start the lesson?
Yeah, I have. So I got out of the Nvidia short early, obviously. Then I tried to flip long. That did not work out. I only got part filled, so I lost more than I wanted to. But you know what happens in these situations? You just got to keep going, got to keep climbing. I need a little bit of a moment to get that confidence back, because I do not think I have it. But we know I will be coming back in these markets. Watch out, markets. You see something and I think that's the issue, is I wasn't taking things I was in love with. I was taking things I liked. What? If I see things I love, watch out, markets. You are in for a rude awakening. The bear is here. Rawr. But yeah, as you were saying, it's been a bear market. And Sheree was literally calling me a perma bear, kind of jokingly, kind of seriously, during the break. So yeah, no, I in all seriousness, though, if there's stuff I like, I will take it. I'm a little bit upset at myself, because I was ready to take that 121 Nvidia short and then test again, and I didn't. But you know what that means? That means I come back into harder. We have some coffee. We take a moment, and you vote for tickers you like. If you have tickers you like. Go in that chat right now, exclamation point, space, $, whatever ticker you like. Yeah, space bar, shift 4, because Sharif likes to make sure we all know what the computer keys are for everything. But yeah, all jokes aside, please vote for your ticker. We are a democratic system here. There's a presidential debate in the U.S. on Thursday, but we don't have debates. We just have straight up democracy over here. The only debate is over which ticker you'll choose, because you only have one per day. Yeah,
look. Ford's up to almost 3%. So I don't know what's going on here with Ford, but it just got into the volume weighted average price. It's 1 penny above that. Here's what I'm seeing. Major automakers target lithium supply from American battery technology. Why is this coming as a hot news? Interesting there, and it's citing Ford as one of the benefactors possibly to this name. Keeping an eye, just want to make sure that this is the right catalyst here. What is this? Car parts supplier could take hit from slower long-term EV market. Okay, that's not it. I'm not really sure what's going on with Ford, but anyway, it's at the volume weighted average price, 12.25 HOD. I just saw you guys talking about Ford, so I thought I'd mention it. It's not, you know, one of those ones that we cover a lot, because it's not a big mover. Anyway, so lesson of the day. Let's get right to it. We're talking about average true range all day. You know, today's lesson is a little bit boring. We get a lot more nuanced with it, with more graphs and you know, pictures and stuff like that later on in the week as we talk about specific trades. Today, we just want to explain what ATR is so you guys have a good foundation. So welcome, traders. Today, we're diving into average true range, ATR for short, a powerful tool used for gauging intraday volatility. So what is ATR exactly? Right? So imagine a ruler that measures a market's typical daily price movement. Essentially, that is what ATR is. It considers the highs, the lows, and the closing price for a particular instrument. And it considers a 14-day running average of all three of those. We don't need to worry about the mathematical formula. The software will do it for us, but that's basically what it's based on. The high, the low, and the close, and its typical standard time is 14 days, all right? So why is volatility important now that we know ATR is a volatility gauge? So volatility is like the market's heartbeat, right? High volatility means rapid price swings, while low volatility indicates those calmer periods. So whether you're running or resting, right? Understanding this rhythm is crucial for intraday day trading, because if the market's hot, you know, you can take bigger positions, be a bit more aggressive, look for things to run a bit more. While things are calmer and less volatile, you don't look to see as much follow through. So you scalp more, maybe look for specific breakout trades. We'll get to those in a bit. So using the ATR as a volatility meter. So first and foremost, right, what you want to do is find your comfort zone. What do you trade better in? What kind of environment do you trade better in? Are you a high volatility trader or a low volatility trader? So you got to basically look and, you know, reflect within yourself to see where you do better, or look at your data to see where your trades really flourish. So high volatility can be thrilling but risky. Conversely, low volatility might offer fewer opportunities. Analyze your risk tolerance, how much you can lose, and look at your own personality and what kind of a trader you are in different markets. ATR helps you identify the market that suits your trading style. So if you're a high volatility trader, here's how to spot the high vol. So a rising ATR suggests a volatile market, right? This might be a good time for the trend following strategies. If you like, you know, taking something long that's going up and to the right, but you like it on a pullback like me, this is where you're going to want to shine, where there is the ATR is higher. If you're a low volatility trader though, and that suits your personality better, you're going to be looking for calmer periods. And what kind of trades do better during calmer periods? Scalping. Low volatility can offer frequent, smaller price movements suitable for those quicker entries and exits, but breakout plays also really important. Funny thing is, you wouldn't associate breakout plays with a calmer market, but it actually makes sense when you think about it, because if everything is volatile, everything is up and to the right or down and to the right, a breakout trade kind of will just get lost in all that, you know, noise. Whereas if the market's really calm and you have an instrument breaking out, it can definitely stand out. So that's what I kind of want to say there. And beyond the basics, while ATR is a great starting point, right, guys, remember, it is based entirely on the historical prints, right? It reflects past volatility, not the future. And it's also really incumbent upon you to mix it in with other technical tools, whether it's moving averages. You know, you want to see maybe the fanning between two moving averages. For example, it's a volatility gauge, right? So you're looking to see what the ATR is printing. Is it 1, 2, 3? What is it specifically for that name? And then you look at the moving averages. Well, if they're really fanned apart, if the 10 is really far away from the 20, it can kind of, you know, add that next check mark there. Yes, this stock is very volatile on the day. So how do you put it all into action? Obviously, you're going to get yourself a trading platform that has average true range. Most of them do these days. And then you're going to analyze the ATR for the instrument that you're interested in. So if I was looking at Apple, for example, what's Apple's typical range on a day? Well, it's probably a lot different now than it was 2 months ago when we called it the dead one, right? Because it wasn't moving. Now, moving a lot more. So the ATR on Apple, I'm willing to bet you, is a lot higher than it was 2 months ago. And then you need to adjust your strategy based on the ATR, right? So if the market or the instrument that you want to trade is with a higher ATR and you like calmer periods, then stay away from it. But if it fits your modus operandi with the higher vol trades, then go for it. So that's what you need to do. You need to get yourself a platform with it, analyze it to see if it fits within your framework, and then you can adjust your trade accordingly. And remember, ATR is a valuable tool, but it is not a magic formula, guys. Always practice sound risk management strategies and combine it with other trading technical indicators to help kind of gauge the overall market.
Yeah, and I like what I like too, the aspect of that is understanding your style and understanding what you're comfortable with. Because if you understand yourself as a trader and what you do, that'll obviously help you to find strategies that make sense. So if you know you like volatility, then maybe this is the type of thing you want to have a better understanding of, right? So I think that's a really key point. And it also, something I remember that Sharif said to me when I first started was like, are you a patient person? And I was like, not in the short term. And Sharif was like, maybe, try these strategies that are shorter term, which is something I've been trying to do. So I just want to shout that out because I think that is kind of emblematic and reflective in this lesson as well, is just like finding things that work for you and understanding.
Yes.
And that's what's great is we're going to get, and shout out to Sharif for preparing these lessons. There should be a little bit of something for everyone. If one week there is something that maybe you're not as vibey with, the next week we'll have something completely different, which is what's really fun. And so I think, today, basically what I've been trying to do now, because like I said, we are, some mistakes were made earlier, so a little bit less risk to work with. So what I've really been trying to work on is trusting my instincts. When you have less wiggle room, you have to have a lot tighter leash on yourself, and you have to trust yourself a lot better. That's what today's exercise has accidentally and inadvertently been. So right now with this AMD, I was very patient for this. I wanted to see us not get above that 50s area. Now that we haven't gotten above 50s, I'm much more comfortable taking, and now we dropped like 10 pennies. So I think there needs to be some combination of the confidence and waiting for those moves, because right now I do think I missed that opportunity in the short, but I was really proud of what I did here with Nvidia. I took 1 penny on the short, obviously not the profit of anyone's life, but I said, you know what, we had a lower high here. We were below that one. We had that 121 initially. Now we're getting to 121.80s. I said, try the short. But then I got short 120.62, so not the best place ever. I said, if I can't see a nice decisive break below 60s, you're gonna have to get out and trust yourself. I took 1 penny, got out at 61s, and I was fine with that. I didn't flip long, so I didn't feel comfortable enough flipping long, but I really think what I'm trying to do right now is just trust myself a lot more. And part of trusting yourself is just being in these positions and having the impetus and trying to make sense of these moves. And I think hopefully that'll translate into some better trading and better trading decisions going forward, because the issue is just haven't had confidence in the trades that make sense and then getting way too overzealous in the trades that don't make sense. Yeah, the Piper saying, what did you video with Nvidia? Yeah, I've tried to make that kind of pun before too. Shout out to you on that. Yeah, it's always, Nvidia is a fun one in terms of puns and words that make sense. But if you like Nvidia, if you like Microsoft, if you like Apple, any of those tickers, what you do right now is you go in the chat and you type in that ticker, and but you have to go first, exclamation point, join, space, $, whatever ticker you're interested in. Do that right now, and then you can have your voice heard and vote there in the chat for the ticker that Sean and Neil will talk about, and Sharif will show you guys on the green screen. So that segment is in just 1 hour, and you have 55 minutes left to vote. Voting closes at 1:50. So shout out to that. Yeah, Nvidia kind of curling down a little bit here. I should have gotten back involved in that short. That's so good. Tesla really fell here. Tesla coming, oh wow. Tesla coming to Resla at this 183.85 area, which is interesting because look where we had a little bit of a baby trough earlier in the pre. We come and bounce here at 10:30. Then we come back up here right now. It'll be an interesting area. If we break up below 184s, I am tempted to take this short, small position. Stop console wars saying use the force. I definitely want to try that. Thank you for the kind words. UV, the great hip hop recording artist. That's cool that you're a range trader. I definitely enjoy ranges as well, trying to get better at that. So yeah, shout out to just an awesome community. I feel like it's a great community to learn in. Let's see, Apple also definitely on the move down here. Shout out to Sharif for his Apple and Amazon trades. Oh, Apple curling below VWAP. This could be spicy. This could be a caramel apple spice. Could be what this is. Caramel apple spice.
Oh, I got popped out.
I'm sorry. Take it. But yeah, also,
I tried it.
Clarify, so why do we call Apple the dead one? Because I was seeing someone in the chat earlier was like, oh, it's because it wasn't doing very well like earlier this year. So the reason we call Apple the dead one is because it used to not move on an intraday basis. Like I told Sharif once that he wasn't there that day. This was when I was still in the sim. I was in an Apple trade. I was in this trade for half an hour, and I tell you, it did not move more than 5 pennies in either direction.
Nuts.
In that half hour. That's the type of movement Apple used to have. Yeah. Now we have where Sharif was 40 pennies in the money on Apple, that Apple trade earlier. Sean took a cool $3 on Apple at the close. So that's why we used to call it the dead one. It wasn't because it wasn't doing well, it was because it wasn't doing anything on an intraday basis. But now Apple has certainly given you that nice little spice. So good look there.
Yeah, that was exciting on Friday. I hadn't been at a rebalance on like in a while. Like obviously we used to do those a lot in the beginning when I first started here, because that was like a floor trade. Wow, that was quite exciting there. But didn't end up being as aggressive on some of the names I anticipated. There were some huge names that moved, though. In case you're wondering what we're talking about the quad witching that took place on Friday. There was also an S&P rebalance. Some stuff was going into the S&P, some stuff coming out. CRM, Workday, I believe. Was it Workday or Monday?
It was GoDaddy.
GoDaddy,
and
neither.
KKR.
Yeah, I knew it was KKR. Neither. Workday or Monday. It was GoDaddy. Yeah, I'm keeping my eye here on the future. The future's taking a big nosedive here. Everything on the way down. Nothing being spared at the moment here on the Mag 7. Google included, Meta. Meta just broke down below 500 again. I'm hesitant to use 500 as a level off which to base anything because it's been zigzagging through that level a lot lately. 120 is also coming in again on Nvidia. It did hold up last time. So the last time we were below 120 was 10 after noon. And as low as we got there was 119.77. We're 99s right now. So coming back a little bit into that level. It's been a rejection of VWAP over and over and over again today on Nvidia. Here we go, low 90s, high 80s incoming here. So let's see if we can break down below that 77's local area low. Shout out to the Katina man who's been short this name all day, and he's short right now as we speak. And let me tell you guys, the Katina man Neil's positions are discoverable by you guys, even while Adara and I are on. And that way you can get on over to More Trader TV. More Trader TV is our second stream. It has everything there for you. It has all the headlines, the tickers, as well as Neil and Sean's positions and everything they've been trading all day, their entries, their exits. And from what it looks like the price is getting more accurate on More Trader TV. It just needs a little bit of time to update.
Yeah,
that's what I understand. Fabian was like, it just takes 30 seconds. So sometimes when Sean or Neil get into a position, it doesn't quite reflect their newer price, but it does after 30 seconds or so. So you guys can rely on that. More Trader TV there for you anytime. You can run it simultaneously with this stream, but it is a different channel. So go into the link description at the bottom of this video and you will see the link there. And I'm sure Bears versus Bulls put it already. There it is. Nightbot just dropped it. So keeping an eye here on Apple as we did break down below 210 and the volume weighted average price. I'm looking for any sort of quick recovery and taking back of the level. Otherwise, just staying put here, Adara.
Yeah, I'm proud of myself. I tried to take that Nvidia 120 long because I saw stuff in the book I like. We get to 120, we bounce. I say, Adara, you owe it to yourself to attempt this. I attempted it, didn't work out, got out. That's the type of stuff you have to be doing, you know what I mean? I'm proud of myself for just trying the opportunity. Was it profitable? No, but it was an attempt. And I think like if you have that confidence in something, and I did like the look, you have to try that. So there you go. Tried that. Like I said, there's really no room for me to take trades unless I'm absolutely obsessed with something right now. So we're just gonna sit and wait, sit on our hands, be very patient here. Nvidia, I still think this could be a short. We did have that topping tail candle. I just wanted to try that 120 long because as Sharif said, that was definitely a level earlier. And I saw stuff in the book that reflected that being a level right now. Alas, it was not one. But you got to make attempts because you learn nothing from sitting and waiting. I may have done a little bit too much not sitting and waiting today, but there were some things learned. And I think I want to shout out Kyle Burnett as well for putting that earlier about his Disney trade. You know, things happen. No one is going to have 100% perfect trades. You just have to learn from those trades and understand that things are not going to be perfect. It's what you do to try to make these trades, to try to make those opportunities happen. So, yeah, really shout that out. Always trying to be a positive force here because you know what I'm always bullish on? Positivity. I might be perma bear on these markets, but I am not a positive.
Let me try to change your attitude a little bit here, Adara.
Okay.
So we know your affinity for Taylor Swift, how much you like her, and how much
you're trying to change my attitude and make it bad?
Yeah. I'm going to tell you this because I think you'll find it funny. So we know that the costs for her tickets are quite high. They can be prohibitively high, right? Yeah. So thousands of dollars. But that's for the actual entry into the concert, right?
Yeah.
What if I was to tell you, Adara, that one of her concerts, specifically in Miami, the parking is going for over $1,000?
Is she trying to bankrupt people?
No, so... it's not her. It's not her that's charging that.
She
Yeah.
released 4 versions of the same album on vinyl and make her fans collect a set. So
wait, Adara, hold
the
on.
woman likes spending.
So on StubHub, a parking pass for one of the shows in Miami starts as little as $56, and then the prime parking spot, the king of them all, the one that's right beside that
king.
front door, is going for over $1,000. So there you go, Taylor Swift.
I like that. I like that. I was just talking about positivity. Sharif's like, we're gonna take the mood to the
Come on, I just saw it on my
I'm joking.
Instagram. I had to give it to you.
I
Right?
get a kick out of that. So thank you, Sharif, for dropping that knowledge on us. 'Cause that is a shocking.
That's insane.
That is deeply
That's a lot of
shocking.
money.
That's a lot of coin. In addition to the Taylor Swift concert and the merch.
Right?
What are you looking at?
Let's have a look at some of these small cap gappers because they're definitely running a lot better to the high side than the Mag 7 are at the moment. The Mag 7 definitely a better short, no question about that, than these small cap gappers because all of these small cap gappers are looking, well, not all, EPOW a little bit different, except for the exception of EPOW, they're all looking up and to the right. DJT continuing to hang out at highs. If you took anything off the 20 on DJT, you're printing because both of the dips into the 20s all got bought up. They were all bottoming tail candles. DJT seems extremely bullish today. MLGO, look, this one the winds of change may be coming on this one, right? Look how closely the moving averages are looking together now. The 10 and the 20 I'm talking about. The 10's looking down. The 20's looking sideways. So we'll see if this price action support at 7.25 holds up. A bit of a range now established between 7.75, 7.25 on MLGO the last 20 minutes or so. But GRDI knows no bounds to its ascent on the day. Still within last week's highs, that would be $1.70, but we're above Friday's highs now. Friday we topped out south of that 150. Now we're at 159 HOD. We've been holding really well off the 10 or the 20. Take your pick here. GRDI continuing to run up. Maybe I'm going to have to switch to these. NXL definitely off the highs. Did reject 3. We were yapping about that one when it did because it broke the aftermarket high on Friday. This one was running aggressively in the aftermarket. This one broke it by a couple of pennies. We got to 290 today, 294. But you can see what happened since then. We've been down and to the right. NNE continues to go. What a hold up at VWAP here on NNE. 1950. Now it's printing 21s or just thereabouts. Look, on NNE, I got to tell you, I would have been bamboozled because I wouldn't have taken VWAP. I would have been going for that consolidation area high at 20 since you cleared 20 by some distance, 2.25. So you figure you come back to 20, you hold it. Nope, not at all. So this one did make its way down into that 1940s, though, at the volume-weighted average price. NNE continuing to run here, guys. Been a great look. Pawns, fawns. See if Google gives us the 179 again. You think so, Pawns? You're about 68 pennies from there. Look, I got to tell you, Ponzi, because Google's just been so consolidative on the day. The range is really hasn't been there. Maybe say 180.50 to the high side. I know the higher is a little bit higher than that, but for the most, 180.50 and the low is 179-ish. So $1.50 worth of range on a $180 name. You could. We're right at make or break here, Pawns, because that 179.62 is Friday's closing print. So looking to bounce off it right now, I guess. Higher lows, though, Pawns. Don't forget about that. Higher low, higher low, higher low, and another higher low over here with a bit of an upward channel. In fact, if you were to draw parallel lines, that is. Let me just drag this. A bit of an upward channel ever since Huaduking on that 180 and 2/3 pop that we got earlier on there at around 10 o'clock. So that's my look. Nothing really for me at the moment. I did get stopped at Apple through 210. That was my last trade. It's right back at 210, 210.04, 210.03-ish area. If it holds this area here and starts printing higher high 5-minute candles, I'll get back long. But right now, it's kind of a inflection point deciding whether it wants to break down or head back higher there. I want to mention one more thing over here. Meta broke down again at 499s. Last time we got into the 200 exponential on the 5, we did hold up somewhat. So keep your eye on 499. Otherwise, it's been incrementally lower highs, even though it's a lot wider of a picture here on Meta. If you don't take this area short, look for support at 497.5. We did hold up there on this crest at 10 to 11, and it was a consolidation area low in the pre-market. So breaking down below 499 now, I'd be looking for a long at 497.50. Let's see if we get one on Meta.
Yeah, 4 words, where's the next trade? As Opie says, I've been looking for the next trade. I've been searching high or low, but like I said, I don't want to take anything right now unless I have something that is screaming at me, Adara, take this trade. Don't know why I did it like that. I tried to take the Nvidia short, and Nvidia said, no, thank you, ma'am. I will drop 50 pennies on my own. I said, you know what, Nvidia, shout out to Sean, shout out to anyone short Nvidia. That's a great look. You just gotta see what happens. Gotta keep going. Gotta keep pushing forward. Yeah, shout out to Obi with the where's the next trade. That's something I've been definitely trying to embody that lifestyle a little bit. I think the next trade is a Tesla short. Why, you may ask? Look, okay, A, kind of topping tail candles, and B, look how we are rejecting this area. Adara, do you want to go? You know what, Adara, you do. I think you do. I think you do. I will be risking here into, where's the top of these wicks here? We're going to risk into 22s. I can live with that. That's about 10 pennies of risk. You know, you don't want to take too many trades. I think that's the issue is I think I was taking some, okay, and I missed my short. That's all good. But I pressed the entry. I made the effort, and Tesla decided it would not like me in that Cybertruck. Thank you very much. So, you know what? What matters is I did my part. I tried to get involved in that trade, and I'm always ready for the next trade. Hit me up, Tesla, if that is you. And if not, I shall keep searching. Yeah, we did that. I'll wait a little bit for the lesson because I think we did
we're good.
Recently
we're
there.
good. Yeah.
But yeah, DJ, I have a question for you with regards to DJT. If you could name a ticker after yourself, what would you know how DJT is like obviously stands for Donald John Trump. What would your ticker be?
CRG.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's a cool ticker. But I mean, like, if you could name, if you had your own little ticker, because you could do like 4 initials too.
Look, I don't think I would be. I don't think I'd name it after myself.
That's fair. But if
Look,
you could name any
he loves to do that though.
Yeah.
He's been doing that since the 80s.
Like
do you know that there was like an early model Cadillac that was called the Trump model, and it was like insane. Yeah.
Oh my God,
I just saw this the other day on like a random YouTube video. So the dude's been doing this for years and years and years,
yeah.
right? So I'm not like that. I personally wouldn't do it.
Yeah. But what? Yeah. What would you
man,
name
that's a
your
good
ticker?
question. I think I would like something that doesn't reflect my name, but rather reflects my personality. So
Like
it's short
Gemini
for something.
Holdings?
I don't know. Well, that's a name. That's not a ticker, though.
That is true.
Right?
Well, I guess that you're right.
I
That's
need
not
to
a
think
ticker.
about this one. I need to think about this one. But speaking of Donald John Trump, DJT is going 35 1/3 HOD. There you go, that big zooming candle. And I had a dip trade set up off the 10. Silly me thinking that I can weasel my way off the 10 exponential. I'm sitting there at 55s. Now the 10 exponential on the 5 is at 2/3 of a dollar. I'm not going to chase it at these levels. It's just, you know, I'd rather be in it when it jumps like that. I don't want to get into it once it jumps like that. I'd have to be already into it. Let's keep an eye to see if it holds a 10 exponential on a closing basis. Even after this big move, I doubt it'll hold 35 even. Yeah, and I'm right about that. There we go. Below 35, printing 99s. Well, there's a bit of a fight right now between buyers and sellers at the whole dollar level. I'll need to reset my entry on this one. I was looking at getting in on the 10 exponential on the 5, but that's not going to set up the way that I wanted to after this big breakout now. Donald John Trump, 26.83% right now, is up more at the highs right now. They're great look. DJT headed back to $50, says DJK. So,
Coincidence? I don't know.
yeah, DJK, DJT, I don't know, I guess.
I'm joking.
Yeah, no, I know, right?
It's just funny. It's just really funny.
Yeah. Anyway, we're not talking fundamentals about DJT. This is a trade. Obviously, we're talking intraday here, not anything else. So when we talk about Donald John Trump's company, we're talking about trading it. I'm not talking about buying it. So that's the look there. Nothing else for me at these levels there.
Yeah, that also reminds me, there was a small cap earlier, I forget which one it was, there were so many small caps today, but one of them had some treatment called Gemini, and I immediately was like, I know you're not fully a Gemini, but I always, because I know like Sharif, you're always like repping the Gemini energy. Which is fine. 'Cause I think Geminis get a bad,
We always get heat,
Yeah.
man. We always get heat. And then as soon as anybody finds out, oh, you're two-faced. It's like, look, man, there's one face right over here.
that
It's just
voice
like
came
right
from,
there.
like, the depths of somewhere. That was like, I can tell this haunts Sharif the way he said.
Do you want to see depths of hell, though? Meta on the way down to the, no, not the hell, but it's going down, guys.
Yeah.
Big move down for Meta. You heard me talking about 497.5 would be an interesting area for a long. 495.85 now the LOD, and this one breaking down aggressively. Meta was, challenging Apple today for the #1 Mag 7 name on the day, but that's got to be put back now. It's Goggles. That's #2. Goggles and Tesla fighting back and forth right now. Apple's still #1. Well down off that 2 1/5 that it was at. Now Apple down below 1%. But so is Meta. Breaking down below 496, let's zoom out a little bit here, figure out where we could find some support. Well, this is actually the afternoon high on Meta, exactly where we are here. Look at this area, 495.91, essentially 495.96. That was as good as we could do right before the bell, as we tried to recover a little bit after that big sell-off that we had on Friday. So Meta holding up at the afternoon highs right now, 496-ish. Big Kyle Burdett, $10 super chat. He says, Leo or bust. Let's get low, drop the door spy. BTC Daddy is going fishing this week. Shout out to you, Big Kyle Burdett. It's cancer season right now, but right after cancer season, we all know what kind of season it is.
Get Leo.
It's lion season.
Roar.
Shout out to
They'll
Big
be
Kyle.
roaring. Yeah, Bears roar, Lions roar. Coincidence?
Yeah.
Lions
Yeah,
Tigers,
they
Bears
both
are
roar.
li-
There you go. Oh, I like that. I didn't actually think about that.
Yeah, I was making that joke a lot as well when you were in your safari. Everyone in the chat was like, there's not going to be any bears in the safari. And I was like, I know.
There's
I'm
none,
like,
but there's
"Forget it.
lions."
This sucks." Yeah, right, there's lions. I don't
And
know.
that was my favorite part of the trip, bar none. Forget about walking with the gorillas.
I know
It
you were
was,
very disappointed about the gorillas.
well, because you had to be super quiet. You couldn't talk to anybody. You had to wear a mask. You couldn't look them in the eye. It was like all these rules. And it took like 3 hours to find them because they're just foraging, right? They're out and about. But the lion walk was just unforgettable. That I'm never, ever going to forget. I saw they showing you pictures. So I'm going to bring some of these pictures,
yeah.
man. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Shout out to Big Cal. So excited over here. Printing everywhere. I'm not surprised, dude. The SPY just printed, well, not the SPY, the NQ September contract LOD. We barely held on to 19.8. So 19.802 and a quarter LOD at the moment. We're just barely above that, trying to hold on to 19.810s. Something tells me we're going to retrace a little bit here. And that's not a bad thing. You saw the topping tail candle that the NOS boss showed today on the, I believe it was the ES. It was the SPY. You know, a lot of times when we get these healthy retracements on an uptrending market, they are preceded by these topping tail candles. So I think we're going to sell off, but I don't think the actual larger trend is done. There's just too much AI tailwind, in my humble opinion. So we'll see. What are you looking at?
Was that a pun intended for bears?
I don't know.
Because I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know if it was a pun intended, but it worked, and I'm down. Also, AMD get AM down because I am in a short. Like I said, this is, I was really trying to be very cognizant of any positions I was taking because we had a few fumbles earlier. But I'm always very positive, and I like to use when I have my back against the wall. I feel like I trade harder. That being said, AMD going against me right now, so we have to get out of that. All good. We're ready for the next attempt. I just have to put the risk a lot smaller, just the situation we're in. But we know that I love these types of situations where I have my back firmly against the wall because I will continue to kick at the face of, I don't know, this is a weird analogy. But I'm really happy. And I'm really proud of myself for getting out where I did because I would have been a cool 20 pennies out of the money instead of where I got out, risked like 4 pennies, right? So you got to take, silver linings are everywhere. Also just realized there were a couple more super chats there. Ahmed clarified what happened with Oklo. Bought on drops, average 931, long-term 30% cover call for that OKLO. So thank you, Ahmed. Sorry, just looking at this now. And Kyle Burnett also another super chat earlier, $2 super chat. I need more cowbells, or blood. Get low, SPY. Yeah, SPY certainly low. Shout out to you, big Kyle Burnett. Leo season on the horizon. The other thing I was watching, and I think I have now, I'll be honest, my read on Tesla around 185 was but my read on Tesla right now has been solid. We get to these 80s, and I should be getting short every time we get near 80s, because every time we get near 83s, Tesla goes to the downside. So I need to be ready to hop in that Cybertruck on the downside with it, because why not? If Tesla's gonna go take that little trip on Bear Express, why am I not coming with it? There's no, I think the issue is I'm just not fast enough because we just dropped a cool 15 pennies. Yeah, the point is I have my eye on a couple things. I'm mostly zeroing in here on Tesla, AMD, and Nvidia. Those are kind of my favorite stocks to trade lately anyway. So we'll have to see what we do. Nvidia is coming into an area I find very fascinating, and that area is going to be 120.85s. Why that specific area, you may ask? Well, look at all of these wicks we had earlier. This was a massive area of support on a wick basis earlier. Then we get into support on a chart basis, like on a closing basis. We wick up into 120.40, then we sell off with a viciousness, with a swiftness, with an aggression. That is the type of area I look for a short. Also, I could not get over the pricing for those Swifty parking lots.
That's insane. Yeah, it was just nuts.
That's wild.
I'm long Nvidia at this level, looking for a bit of a retracement. We're about 20 pennies in the money here. Let's see if we can get 30 pennies in the money. Let's see. Come on, Nvidia. Give me a little bit more. Let's go up a little bit more. I'm going to cover in the mid 90s if we can. Here come the high 80s.
I think you're going to get it.
Yeah, hold on. Oh, we'll see. We'll see. No, I don't mean to say that to you. I was just talking to myself. Let's see if we can get up a little bit more. We're hanging out in the mid 80s. Yeah, I'll just pack my patience. Man, why don't I just put the actual out there at 90 so that I don't need to worry about it. So we'll see what we get, and we will not get upset. Shout out to Neil. Apple recovering as well through 210. The future did get a bit of a bounce there, not much through that 18.8 touch. But yeah, we're going to probably have to pack our patience on Nvidia because that big move up looks like it's fizzling out a little bit here. I did see a doji candle form at that 119 level, followed by another candle to make a new high. So I said, look, realistically, you could get a 120 touch here, which precipitated me to get into this name. We'll have to see if there's any follow through. Big seller at 70 there. Look at that, about 200 lots. So there's a big seller at 70 right now. Obviously not a huge seller, but here it comes again. If we can get closer to it, I want to show it to you. There it is. No. Okay, so we get away from it again. But there was a seller at 70 there, about 300 lots. Nothing really to stop Nvidia on a permanent basis, but it did stop it in its tracks there on the way up. So we'll see if we can get something a little bit there. Should have maybe covered it in the high 80s, but greed comes into play. So keeping an eye on that. I want to jump into some small cap gappers, specifically Donald John Trump. I think that this one would be a good one. Let me just put my out on Nvidia. Did I already put my out? Let me just double check real quick here. Do I have an out on Nvidia? I do. So let's get both of these a little bit different. And now let's put our out, which will be 119. We'll go 48. So we'll really defend our entry, and then we'll go 11940. So that will be the line in the sand there. Hopefully we won't get stopped out. We'll start trending and print in the 90s because that's what I'm waiting for there. But yeah, Donald John Trump, unbelievable move to the high side again. I was just about to get into GRDI because it did touch the volume weighted average price. I'm not far away from it still. 141, 140 was where it dipped into. We're printing 144s right now. Nothing really in terms of parabolic retracement. There's nothing parabolic about this retracement, but respectable hold nonetheless. So if you sized in, possibly you could have got printed nicely there. MLGO though, wow, right back up again. Doesn't come into any, specific level that I was looking at. 7.25, we were getting bottoming tails. Looks like 7.25 held. Not a level that I had earmarked. And I definitely would not have gotten long with these moving averages being as close as they are together, especially not at a key area of support. So MLGO continuing to go, but I don't have a proper read on all these names. So I'm going to have to kind of leave them as they are. Let's flip back to NVDA here. At 70s, we're 20 pennies, somewhat in the money, but definitely looking for a bit of a higher move here on Nvidia. Let's go mid 90s. Hopefully we can get a print here, Dare.
Yeah, I'm just gonna cheerlead for you, Nvidia.
Thank you.
Rah, rah, Nvidia. Rah, rah, Nvidia. Yeah, shout out there to Sharif. I took about 10 pennies here at Nvidia's cousin AMD. Please just punch. Like I said today, my focus this afternoon is really on being calmer, waiting, and being patient. Was I calm this morning? Was I patient this morning? Not really. So that's what we're trying to work on. Like I said, I always want to be positive. I always want to look for the upside. And I think in order to be positive, you have to be honest.
100%.
Right? So I think, in all honesty, there were certainly some oopsies made today. And so in order to not make these oopsies, you have to work, you have to be focused. That being said, AMD, I will short you again. I have zero qualms. I am qualm-free. Again, this qualm continues to be my favorite word. But let's see what we do here. We had a lower high here on the book and the tape. We could not get above that VWAP. So I said, you know what? If you're not going to bop above VWAP, I will take this short. And will I get the short? I will not. But we put the order in, and that's what matters. Let's see what happens here on AMD. Let's AMC on AMD. AMC. Shout out to AMC and AMD. But let's see what happens here. Actually, speaking of AMC, AMC did have its little story with its potential debt situation. So let's take a look at AMC. Let's AMC what we're seeing here. Not much, gotta say here. We're down on the day slightly. We had this pop into 458s, massive wick up here, then continuing to go lower, a little bounced off VWAP, then pushed a bit to the downside. How did Nvidia go?
It went well, took it out in the mid 80s. I didn't get my 90s Adara, but I felt that maybe we were counting a little bit too much resistance there, especially as the future came back down. I could have been wrong, but profitable trade nonetheless. We'll see if we can get something else. I see the ZON starting to curl a little bit here. A little bit of, possible area of support coming in on the ZON and Meta. They're both very much near day's lows right now, as they both printed, I believe, new day's lows on that last little move down. Why do I want to get long at these levels? Well, that's a good question. I don't know why. Good thing I asked myself that. No, with respect to Meta, it really has to do more with like a pre-market consolidation area low. This was the sporadic nature of the pre-market trade on Meta, but as low as we got was essentially 496. We defended that level. So if we come into 496, do you want to get something off it? Well, you already did. You already got a nice little move there, almost $1.20 off the low. So maybe that was all it was going to give you. It got to 495.79, and it got back up into 497. But quick as you like, all the way back down into 496.50. So maybe I should stop trying to catch falling knives, as Neil likes to say, with both these names being a little bit weak on the day. So I'm going to pack my patience there, and we'll see what else. Oh, we got soccer to talk about, Adair. We're in the middle of the Euro and the Copa America.
Let's talk about soccer.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so today, only 2 games, but very good games.
Oh.
Italy plays Croatia. So shout out to BPI. Shout out to the Catena man, both of Italian heritage. They're going to be cheering on the Azzurri.
And Italy and Croatia are neighbors.
Yes,
so
they are.
Really
Absolutely are very
I have
much
some
neighbors.
family friends from Croatia.
No way.
So, yeah, pretty interesting stuff.
I like how all their names end in ich.
Yeah.
Modric, Rakitic, Mandzukic. Who else? What's that guy's name that plays on City? I forget his name anyway. So Italy, Croatia today at 3, then Spain and Albania. That's going to be another good one. Spain beat Italy last time 1-0. It was on an own goal. This is the same group. So now we are in the final game of the group stages. So the group games are going to be played at the same time to avoid match fixing. Anybody who knows about the West Germany game knows exactly why they do that. Oh yeah, we're not going to get onto that on the show because it involves You know exactly what I'm talking about, Neil. Neil knows exactly what I'm talking about. So yeah, that's why they do these, so that you can't match fix. Tomorrow, great games. 4 games tomorrow in Euro. These are, again, the last game of the group stages. We got France, Poland at noon. We got Netherlands, Austria at noon. Then Denmark, Serbia, and then the one I really want to watch, and I'll be available to watch, England, Slovenia. Go England. Obviously, with all my connections to that country, I'm cheering for England, no question about it.
Yeah. I mean, someone watches the Prem a lot as well. I figured.
Neil is cheering for them too. I gotta say, that's my horse in this race. I'm always cheering for England. They always somehow disappoint. Cause a lot of pressure. It's like the Leafs, right?
Yeah.
You're under constant pressure as a Maple Leaf player. It's the same thing as being an England player. You're just under the microscope. So yeah. Guys, Donald John Trump, HOD, Ram. This thing is on its way at 36 bucks. Ram, did you punch long Donald John Trump? She punched. How much are you in the money, Ram? You're long 31s, aren't you? I just knew it. She's $6 in the money. Shout out to Ram. No, but for real, 35 2/3 right now. High a day, up 28.85%. Big move up after, multiple days move down. Here's a 4-hour look. So you can kind of see exactly where we were at. That $55 level was a line in the sand, at least locally. Couldn't break through that $55 level despite, 3 attempts. Maybe you can make it an argument for a triple top. And then down we go. Getting back into the 50 here on the 4-hour. The 50 exponential on the 4 hours hanging out at 36 1/3 Adair.
Yeah, shout out to Ramin in production. I love when Sharif brings Ramin and Fabian in for along for the ride, because we do, we have a great community behind the screen, we have a great community off screen, we have a great community behind us. Everyone is awesome, and yeah, I'm always very grateful. So I always try to shout everybody out. But like you said, England's gonna be under a microscope right now. Nvidia is under a microscope for me. Tried to take that long off 199.1940s, and Nvidia said, you're not going to get filled. And I said, that's okay, Nvidia. On to the next one. Shout out to Jay-Z. Dirt off the shoulder. Another shout out to Jay-Z. But right now, we're going to do that lesson one more time. I don't know. So we're going to do that right now. Oh, I accidentally closed the tab.
All right, let me just cover a couple of things while you get ready. GRDI just absolutely dumped. This was another one of those small cap gappers that we were talking about. It had a healthy respect today for whether the 20 period or the 10 period, depending on where you got in, and it just tanked right down below the volume weighted average price, hanging out at 141. This is the one I was just telling you that I want to get a dip trade off VWAP, but the retracement off it looked awfully suspicious, and I was happy that I didn't get into this because look at that move down. So let's load it up here, see where it's at right now. GRDI at $1.32. Oh, sorry, $1.33 right now. Definitely off that low at 127, but keep your eye on this one. It could continue to sell off. I didn't expect, this possible support here at 127. Not really an area I charted there.
Yeah, lesson time over here. We are going to talk about our lesson of the day, which is going to be average true range. Also, I did take like a 5-penny A and B scalp. Just wanted to explain if you guys saw that. So yeah, please just punch with that, but also please just punch with average true range. Today we're going to be diving into the ATR, which is a really powerful tool for gauging intraday volatility, which is day traders we always want to be aware of, right? So what is ATR? Imagine you've got a ruler and it measures the market's typical daily price movement, and that's going to be the ATR. So with the ATR, you're going to be considering the highs, lows, and closing prices to capture overall volatility. But why is volatility so important? So volatility is like the market's heartbeat. Sometimes it's going to be a more consistent heartbeat. Like let's say you're running a marathon. You're going to have these consistent kind of moves of volatility, a bit more of a slow and steady wins the race type pacing there. Shout out to the tortoise and the hare. But then meanwhile, low volatility, let's say you're napping or something, or just chopping, like, boom. It's a little bit slower, right? So you want to have an understanding of that rhythm that's going to be absolutely crucial for intraday trading. So how do you understand volatility? The ATR is a volatility meter then, now that we kind of understand volatility and understand the purpose of ATR. So first you want to find your comfort zone. That's essential for trading in general, but it's also essential for ATR because high volatility can be thrilling. It can give you the time of your life, but can also be a little bit riskier. So do you want to risk it for the brisket? Shout out to the Freedom and Wealth podcast in which they mentioned that a little bit. So shout out to that podcast. They mentioned brisket and risking. But yeah, so definitely high volatility can be thrilling, but it can be risky. Meanwhile, low volatility can offer fewer opportunities, but it'll be a little, the risk will be a little bit different, right? So you want to be cognizant of that. You have to really figure out your own risk tolerance before you figure out how you want to trade. And so ATR can help you identify markets that suit your trading style. So spotting high volatility is so that can be, a rising ATR suggests a more volatile market. So this can be a good time for these trend following strategies. So if you like riding the trends, if you just like riding that wave to the upside or downside, shout out to the bears out here in the chat. Increased volatility can present bigger potential moves, but you want to be mindful of the increased risk. But how do you spot low volatility? Well, a low ATR can indicate a calmer, more subdued market. And this can be a good time for scalping. So these low volatility can offer frequent, smaller price movement suitable for these quick entries and exits, these ins and outs. Breakout plays are also really important here, and these can happen in low volatility. In a calmer market, a breakout or a surge past price resistance or below price resistance or price support, this can give you more follow-through potentially, and that can offer more potential gains. I mean, we always say potentially because each situation is going to be different, but it's just things to be aware of, right? That's what we're trying to talk about here. So let's go beyond the basics. Let's go deeper. ATR is a really great starting point, but you want to remember that this is historical. With a lot of indicators here, it's going to be based on historical action, so it reflects past volatility and can unfortunately not predict the future. You also want to use it with other technical analysis tools. We love, you want that confluence. You want to see confirmation, multiple tools working together in harmony. That's what you want to see, right? So maybe you want to combine ATR with confirmation signals like technical indicators for better trade entries and exits. Now, how do you put it all together now that you have all these individual pieces? First, choose a trading platform. Some trading platforms, or most, will actually have built-in ATR indicators. So you might want to add that to your repertoire, add it to your arsenal.
Oh.
Have ATR as part of your trading toolbook or your recipe book. It's just one piece of the puzzle. And you also want to analyze the ATR now that you have it open to you. What is the current ATR? How has it been trending? What's the vibe? What are you feeling like? How does it suit your style? Those are things you want to be aware of. What's the trend ticker today?
I love it.
I thought.
Yeah, of course.
I had to.
Same.
But also, you might want to adjust your strategy based on the volatility reading. You might want to adapt your trading approach accordingly, fix it, see how it's going. But ATR is a valuable tool. It's not a magic formula, and unfortunately, cannot predict the future. You always want to practice sound risk management and combine this with other tools. Like I said, have it as part of your arsenal to help make informed trading decisions. But also, if there's any ticker you want to vote for, go in the chat right now and vote for your ticker. Exclamation point, join, space, $, whatever ticker you like. And if it is one of the lucky tickers chosen, there's 5 tickers selected, then we will chat about, or not we, but the big kahunas will chat about it on the afternoon show. And Sharif will stand there with his mustache, which is unfortunately not a ticker. And then we will talk about those tickers. Sorry, I had to. But yeah, exclamation point, join, space, $, whatever ticker's your fancy. How are you doing over there?
I just love how you gave me a lot of credit. Sharif's just gonna stand there, right?
I'm
just gonna be like,
I didn't mean it like that.
No, I know.
He talks about that. He talks about stuff.
I just thought it was funny. The market just absolutely quadunked Adara.
Oh, yeah.
Big move down as we break through today for the first time on the day. 19.8 has given way on the NQ September contract. Now we are down 0.93 on our way possibly here at 1%. Negatory day. We'll have to drop a little bit more right now, but as you saw, the future prefacing, essentially what's happening everywhere in the Mag 7 world, everything is down and to the right. Not everything is at low of days, but everything is really obviously a bit weak at the moment. We just got another new low on Meta, 495 held right now, but barely. 06 is showing up, but nice bottoming tail candle coming in on Meta. Softy, absolutely tanking, making me feel very silly for having covered this one. We had this short on Softy earlier, and I was pretty excited about these higher lows, but patience, not my middle name, and definitely did not, extract as much as I could have out of that trade. But MSFT down into pivots now. Initially, we broke through pivots at the IB, like right at 9:30, but that's to be expected because the volatility comes plenty at the bell. But look what happened at 10:40. We did end up holding the IB. The pivot point, the green dotted line, not the solid line, the dotted line is the pivot point. So we did hold that level at 448.25. We're right there again, 448.25. Let's see if we can close above the pivot point. If we do, I could be persuaded to take a bit of a mean reversion here. But yeah, Tesla on the way down. Now Apple really giving up the ghost at 210. It's been dancing a little bit above 210, a little bit below. The lower lows keep getting lower from the 210 dance. The higher highs, not really. 210.20 seems to be the high, but the lows keep getting lower and lower. You can see that there with the lower lows on Apple. Sorry, Ram. I kept saying low. Yeah, what do you want me to say, man? Everything's at lows right now. Ram, they're all very low right now.
You're trying to troll her now.
It's a 3-hour show, Dara.
I know.
Right? But yeah, Meta catching a bit of a bounce there, guys, off that 495.06 touch. And a hammer candle comes in there. And look at this one. You're $1.50 off that low. So META trying to get a bit of a mean reversion here back possibly into 497. But definitely still lower lows.
Yeah. Low.
Donald John Trump just took a bit of a dive there. Now holding up at the 10. Oh, sorry to interrupt you, Dara, but this is important. Look at that move down off 36.09. We dip into 35.03. But most important about that dip is that it held the 10 exponential. So the trend is still there, guys, even though we did get a bit of an outlying move. We come back and we retrace now 35.50. If you took 35, you're a lot better trader than me because I should have been looking off that level on Donald John Trump. Still pumping 36.09 HOD. It's up 28 1/3. Was up more at the high. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was just thinking low by flow ride, so that was definitely more important than what I was doing there. But yeah, shout out, thank you for the DJT coverage. Also, I have to say, I am proud of myself with these Nvidia trades. I took 2 little baby shorts. Like I said, some decisions were made earlier, so we have a little bit less wiggle room to work with. So it was really, I'm only taking trades that were like screaming at me, take them. So that's what happened here. This NVDA, again, neither of these were profitable, but I'm happy with them because I trusted myself and got out before they went massively against me. So here's my thing. If I can do this, if I can make these decisions when my back's against the wall, why am I not making these decisions when I got all this wiggle room? That's a really serious thing for me to think about. In all seriousness, like, you know, I like that. I like to make my puns. I like to make my jokes. I like to sing my rap. But I do take trading seriously, and I have to think about this because Sharif and I had this conversation a lot last week as well, where I weirdly make the best trading decisions when I have a lot riding against me. So why can I not? I have to, I guess, adopt that mindset where I have my life has to be an action movie 24/7 in my head, and that's the only way we can make these trades. But yeah, like I said, I love to stay positive. So right now, I am very bullish mentally. If there's something I like, you know, I will take that with a viciousness. But honestly, I'm proud of myself for having this realization today, because like again, these trades that I made with my back against the wall, it's not like they were great trades, but the decisions I made in them were a lot more solid. They were a lot, both of these, I thought both these Nvidia flat bottom break attempts were solid, and I got out of them for reasons that made sense. So I cannot be, I know I'm kind of like I sound aggressive here, but I'm really happy. I'm really proud that I figured this out. So shout out to that. Right now, not really seeing anything that tickles my fancy or tickers my fancy. If there's a tickler that you like, go in the chat right now, ! Join space, $, your ticker. But yeah, I'm going to stop talking now and start looking at some tickers. How are you doing?
Absolutely, yeah. Who was it there in the chat? Joe095 wants us to look at NNE. Good eye, Joe, because it's on the side chart over here. It's been a good ticker on the day. However, my only beef with this one, Joe, is that the volume has been a little bit suspect. 4.5 million shares on a trending name. It's only $20. It's not like, you know, it's a multi-$100 stock, so you could anticipate a little bit lower volume. No. That aside, the chart is fantastic. Now, we haven't loaded up on a trading screen to be able to discern what the spread is. So let's do that, because the spread will factor in a lot into whether we trade it or not. So let's go NNE, and I believe it is on the NASDAQ, and I am right. Okay, so as I suspected, 24 penny spread. That's not going to cut it. That is not going to cut it. Who does this thing it thinks it is? Meta? You know what I mean? Like Lily?
Lily?
Like, come on, bro.
Thank you for calling out the two spready tickers.
No, seriously, though.
Yeah.
It makes it a lot harder to manage risk. Right now, 13 pennies, not 24, as the spread tightens. That's been my only beef with it, Joe. But if you want to base it off the chart and really not a whole lot of tape, you could just put resting orders at levels that you like. Case in point, you could sit at $20. Like right here, it did defend $20. Now, you may not get filled because of spread, right? So the bid could drop below your offer, or sorry, your order, but it may not get filled depending on where the ask is. So that's a problem. The other thing is, it did very much respect the volume weighted average price. I do like that about a name, because it gives you, you know, something off which to, you know, say, well, if it's above this, I'll do that. If it's below this, I'll do that. Not, you know, the one that zigzags a little bit above and a little bit below VWAP. I base my small cap trading system really in large part on the pre-market high and above, and on the volume weighted average price. If it's not above the pre-market high and not above VWAP, I don't trade it as a breakout trade. I can try to take a range on it, but that's few and far between. Anyway, make a long story short, it's got to be at a key technical level for me. Like, I have to be getting it off 1950 right at VWAP, for example, or, you know, short off the high, or to come into a key area of technical support that's been tested multiple times on the day, if it's so spready. Otherwise, I just don't bother, especially on a day like today, Joe, when there's just so many other ones running. MLGO still in play. NXL is still in play. DJT, goes without saying, still in play. So I like NNE. I don't like the spreadiness on it. So that's my take there. Donald John Trump absolutely held the 10 exponential on both candles. I will not be convinced otherwise. You know, this, whatever algo was trading this, is trading it off the 10, the 20. It just, you don't hold up that many times by accident. So good luck today for DJT and whoever's trading it. You know, sadly, I haven't had one trade on it. Let's go and do that now. I'm going to put a resting order. I'm sick of not participating in this name. So let's go ahead and see come what may. So right now, the 10 exponential is hanging out at 35 1/4. I'm going to front run it by going 35 1/3. Let's see if we can get something there, Adara, and try to play off that level we've been talking about all day.
Hope you print, as you always say. Yeah, Sharif's participating. I'm trying to participate. So
get it.
Look at that. I like a level. My brain trying to go off there. I like 183.45s. I'm just trying to be really, really sure. Why do I like that level? You may ask. We're below the 90 MA, Adara. That's your favorite level. It is my favorite level. And we did have these rejecting candles. I need to be cognizant of these topping tail candles. However, we have a little bit of a bottoming tail candle here at that previous little top and turn area. I like this as a long. Like I said, that we do not have like all the risk in the world to spin around. So I'm only taking trades if my brain is like, you must, right? Ignore the weird face I just made. But that's how confident I have to be in the trade. I think it does its job. So we're gonna have to wait and see here. We are drifting a little bit lower, I think, because Tesla had a pop here into like 60s and then rejected. So I want to be, we did reject earlier. So I want to be cognizant of the fact I might not get what I want here. But I'm very happy Sharif got what he wanted here on DJTs, because I know you were trying to get involved in that earlier. And Donald John Trump was not, I was trying to think of a DJT acronym and I couldn't. But yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see here. Tesla's doing, I'm gonna participate. I just don't know in which direction I will be participating. Gaurav, shout out to you. Amazon putting in a hammer candle in the 10-minute might get a bit of a bounce. Let's find out if what Wazos we're going. Oh, this is really similar looking to Tesla. So I'm gonna have to say the same thing about Amazon that I just said about Tesla. Although I think there's more confidence for Tesla in terms of levels, but shout out to Obi and the bank button. But this Amazon here, I think we could, you guys know what I like. I want to see us break above the 90 MA. The other thing with Amazon, much like what we have with Tesla, is there are a lot of topping tail candles here. So look at all of these wicks with that 186.75. For me, I think Amazon needs to break above 186.75 for me to confidently say that package is being delivered to the upside. But I do see what you see here, Gaurav. We have a really nice base here with that topping tail candle. So I want to shout you out. I totally see what you're seeing. I just think for like further upside move, I would like to see us break above that 186.70 level. And we just got a nice pop-up there. So it definitely looks like you had the right call on that. Shout out to you. NEE, says John Del Seno. Let's see, Next Era Energy. That one had, I took this short last week. That one had a little bit of a move to the downside last week. I know Kyle Burdett, I believe, was involved in that one as well. So shout out to you. Recovering very nicely. Yeah, Next Era Energy found its energy, and it's on its next era to the upside. Look at this bounce here at 73.75s, which is where we had those wicks earlier. This is the type of stuff I love to see. But I also love to see Sharif print on DJT.
All right, here we go. So now we just got in front of 35, so it's going to have to hold that 34.75 area, and it's coming down. So this is trouble for me here. We're going to have to hold, that $35 area. Buyer at 80, though, that's a little unusual. So I'm going to have to put in my stop. 34, we're going to go 69s, and then we're going to cover everything there into 50s. We've got, pardon me here, just have to organize this. There we go. So there we go. And right up above 35 we go again. We're long at 24, so we're still out of the money on this. Stop is in play. So it holds the 20 on this occasion, which is what I was looking for on the worst case scenario, but it's going to have to hold this level. So if it doesn't hold this level, that's it. That's the end of the trade on DJT. It can't break down below the 20. It hasn't broken down below the 20 on a wick basis all day. If it does it now, I don't want to be part of it. Simple as that. So back above into 34.15, the spread. Okay, here comes 25s again. So nice recovery there off the 20. I'm going to have to pack my patience here because my long is at 34s. So definitely can't take anything out here. So it's going to have to really recover off this level, but I do like how it held that former area of technical resistance, that 34.80, which also happened to be the 20 period as well. So now we're back break even on this name, and now we're in the money on this name. So let's see if we can get back a little bit more. I have a beak wetter at 55s, but like I tell you, when we were at 50s last time, I was seeing a whole lot of selling in front of 50. So even though I didn't see the book reflect size at the $0.50, I did see it IRL. So we'll have to see if that ends up happening again once we retrace. So Donald John Trump, 35.25, long, about break even at the moment as it dances with this level, not wetting my beak until the $0.50. Let's see if we can move up a little bit here. Some buy orders coming in there on the tape. So bit of a seller here at 30s. Line in the sand's already been drawn. Let's see what we get it there.
Yeah, I am very proud to say I got 10 pennies on Tesla. So I said I wanted to participate, but I said I wanted to be careful before I participated. So I waited, I watched, I sat, Of course I sat. We're here. Shout out to Sean and his coffee. And I should have participated again when we got to 183.72. I only took 10 pennies. Like I said, I was really just trying to take scalps here. Took that scalp, please just punch. Where's the next trade? I think it might be this Tesla, but we just dipped a little bit lower, so I'm gonna have to wait. We're getting a bit of a topping tail candle. I mean, if Tesla wants me to participate to the downside, I have no problem. And we only have 3 minutes left to vote for your ticker of choice. You go in the chat right now. You type with a viciousness rapidly, exclamation point, join, space, $, whatever ticker you want. You guys know what tickers you like. Sharif will go on the screen and he will talk about the stock.
Sharif will stand there, as you said before.
Yeah.
Sharif's just going to stand there.
That's what I said before. That's why I said Sharif will discuss the stock. He will discuss the story. No, but in all seriousness, I want to shout out Sharif because he's always like making sure he had the story right in every single stock.
I always
He is doing the most in a good way, to use a Sharifism. Also, I was thinking about this recently because this was like a tired thought for me because I know you talk about a lot about doing the most in a good way. I think usually doing the most should be a good thing.
Well, yeah,
right?
but that's not how we use it,
I know
right?
the connotation is bad, but it really shouldn't be.
No, it shouldn't.
It should be, you're doing the most. You care, you're passionate.
Well, it's kind of like
something.
an extension of like reaching, if you're reaching for like that, definition or like that, whatever.
Yeah.
Right? So I kind of get the whole thing, but hey, we'll always
shout
mention
that
it.
out. But yeah, so shout out to Sharif on the screen there, who was not just standing, he is doing things. I
promise you.
He is standing while he does the things, but he is doing things in the green screen. Yeah, I did not mean for that. I apologize for that earlier. But yeah, shout out to Sharif. And if you want to hear the big kahunas talk about those tickers, just go in the chat right now.
Yes.
You have a couple minutes more
remaining,
there. Also, yeah, shout out to Tesla, waiting to see what happens there. Amazon, I said to Gaurav, I wanted to see what we did here. Amazon could not. Unfortunately, Tesla had its move above the 90 MA. Amazon did not. So, but if it bounces here, that could still be an interesting area. So we're gonna have to wait and see.
NNE and NXL both kind of just jumping off here midday, both at the same time. I don't want to say they look alike, but both of them kind of rounding here at both the same level. They both have topping tails at around the same time, 1150 on NXL, 1130-ish on NNE, and they're both breaking out to the high side almost at around the same time, both of the middle area as well. So I'm kind of looking at these and being like, are they being traded here by the same algo? So we'll see. They're not at high day, NXL 294, essentially that $3 area is the high a day. We also have NNE, the high a day is around 22.25. Last time around, we just got to 22 and rejected. So this one's up 37 some odd percent. It's a good look. It's been curling up all day. NNE had a bit of a, I don't want to say an easier trade because it's much more spready, but it really did respect the volume weighted average price. So it didn't break anything below it. Whereas on NXL, you got a perfunctory break, even though it was not by that much. 228 was where VWAP was at. This one dipped into 221. Could have stopped you out depending on how close your stop was to the volume weighted average price. So that's what I'm looking for there. Go Donald John Trump. Let's go. So I'm waiting here at 55s. Back into 40s we go. Let's see if we can get the print, man. 50s, there was a seller there last time. I saw it. I didn't see it reflected on the book. But I'm looking for a 20-period hold and a curl near high a day. If we can get that curl at least through the $0.50, I'll be looking to cover some there. I have my out in front, on the other side, the north side of 55. So I think I'm going to have to adjust that and be a little bit more aggressive with where I cover. So we're going to go ahead and try to cover into 50s. I'll say that 47s for Beekwetter. We'll see if we get it there. But yeah, definitely topping tail candles for whatever reason into 35 and 2/3. And that wasn't the only time we've got these topping tail candles into that third of a dollar. We did it earlier too, before we broke it. These candles were all coming into that third of a dollar and retracing. So I do like the 20-period exponential hold. I like the 35 general retake, but yeah, this looks like it's gonna break down. So yeah, here we go. 35 being tested again now. Two topping tail candles, both through the $0.25. My line in the sand is gonna be exactly where it is, and I'm not changing anything. So if I get stopped out, I get stopped out, but this one looks like it's gonna break down here. Donald John Trump coming all the way down to 34.75, and then right back like that into above 35. This one is Bamboozlement City. Bamboozlement City. What is the volume on this thing today? 17.25 and a fifth. So it's not ridiculous by any means. It hasn't done ridiculous amounts of volume, but Yeah, that's the look. 35 and a third seems to be a local resistance level. We've been above it sometimes. If you get above a third, the $0.5 is trouble as well. And we'll see if we get printed on this. Domingo, Chewy, past 27 runs. Let's look at CHWI, something to divert my attention from DJT.
I like that.
CHWI.
It's been
Have a
moving
look.
lately.
Yeah, great look today for Chewy. What is it up on the day? CHWI. I hate when my chart doesn't tell me. 6%. Who can say bad to that? 5.97 to be exact. It's done almost 15 million shares. Barclays maintaining coverage with an overweight and a price target of $32 today on Chewy. So I don't know what they had it at before. What else we got here? Nothing else really other than that headline today on Chewy. But I know they had a headline last week.
Yeah, there was a rumor that Ryan Cohen was going to.
Yeah, here it is. Chewy trading volume spike drew to Cohen speculation, says Gordon Haskett. What was the exactly? Saying Ryan Cohen could be buying a position of $3 billion on Chewy. That was on the 20th. So that was quite some time ago. So we'll see if that actually ends up happening. Back to Donald John Trump here, still hanging out at 35s, not doing anything, a little bit above, a little bit below. This is going to have to resolve here because I've only got 5 minutes left to trade. I already got my stop through, so I can realistically leave it and get up. But, you know, with a stock like DJT, I don't feel comfortable getting up and relying entirely on the stop because the bottom could absolutely drop off this and the liquidity could dry up. So I don't want to be in that position where I'm doing that. Also, MLGO just pamped again through $8 up into that 8.25, 8 2/3 high day there. Good look here for MLGO.
Yeah, I figured out what the GO and MLGO stands for. Apparently go.
Oh.
Because that one keeps going. Also, I want to explain this AMD. I took a short 160.01s, dropped a little bit lower. I said I'll get out if we get into like 160.05s that, you know, we had to get out. It's all good. Then I know Sharif talks about this sometimes when you leave like stops in and they end up triggering. So I did end up getting long, took a couple pennies on my accidental long. So that ended up actually really being profitable.
Nice.
So, I mean, good times, but again, still not proud of that. Got to be more patient. Like someone was asking me if I'm up or down in the day. I'm down in the day, but I have to say, like, I said this to Sharif a lot. I always feel like I learn the most in the days when my back's against the wall because you have to learn to trust yourself when you have nowhere to run. It sounds really dramatic. It's just trading, I swear. But trading, it's such a huge metaphor, I think, for life sometimes. But you have to trust yourself. You have to commit to yourself and your ideas. And so I've learned a lot. I'm ready to come back tomorrow with the confidence, the heat. Watch out, markets. That old 1-2 punch. Also, I was just thinking, because you said, you know, Bamboozlement Central or Bamboozlement City in DJT. I wonder what stock would be the capital city of Bamboozlement Nation. Because there's a couple contenders, AMD or Nvidia, Tesla, DJT, some of these small caps.
Bamboozlement Nation?
Yeah, which stock would be capital?
I think we might have to give it to small cap gappers in general.
Just all of them. They take turns. They take turns.
Because, you know, the bottom can drop off at any time, right? And we always say they're around for a good time, not a long time, right? That's kind of what we say around here. All right, Donald John Trump back into 3.25 again, but not breaking out above that $0.33 range. Here's a $0.33, and I guarantee you won't break, and it didn't break. It dropped right in the 35. There's a seller at a $0.33. I won't be convinced otherwise. There's 4 topping tail candles now into that $0.33, 3 of them after 140 and 2 of them prior to that. So whether or not we broke it, it doesn't really matter because that whoever was shorting it there is shorting it again. And all the, you know, it's not at exactly the same level, but they're all like 1 or 2 pennies off each other. And now I'm going to get stopped out, it looks like, as it comes right back down into that. Every time I think I get stopped out, it gets bought up again. So I'm just going to let this one go. I've given it about 25 pennies worth of room on my stop. So even if the bottom drops out, I should be able to get filled here right back above 35 into 35.10 again. I picked the worst time to get into Donald John Trump at the moment. It was trending all day, and the second I get into it, it wants to like bamboozle me with a little bit above, a little bit below, but that's trading. You're going to get what you're going to get, and you're not going to get upset. NNE, right back into that near high a day again. It's at 22s. This time, they ain't no topping tails, though. This time, they're consistent, and they're definitely, you know, closing much near the highs. So earlier than that, we were getting these topping tail candles into 22 with the majority of the closing print. So I did get stopped out there, I think. Yeah, I did. I just got stopped out of DJT as it breaks down below that level now. So sucks to be me. We'll have to figure out a different trade on that one next time, but DJT coming down. But back to what I was saying about NNE, they were definitely wicking through that 2150 level, but this time definitely a lot more consistent of an ascent. Still though, below that 2228 HOD Adair.
Yeah, I knew what it was because I know with DJT, because I know you said you wanted to get involved, and you did just that. So I'm very, I got it.
How did you figure out that one? That's a good one.
I just thought of it, but in all seriousness, I want to
one.
shout that out because you said you wanted to take it and you took it. So
yeah, it will take
that's something I'm trying to work on myself as well. So I just wanted to shout that out. Also, I have a question for you, which is just something I've randomly thought of and I think could be interesting. So let's say you've got a couple small cap gappers that are all setting up beautifully in the way that you like with your system. How do you choose which one to take? Or do you just
that's a tough one. No, and I don't take all of them.
I figured you wouldn't. That's why
I don't. Yeah, I just, you know, whatever looks the best, to be honest. That's kind of like what or whatever is offering you like in the least amount of risk. So if you're getting a VWAP or a key technical level, a high day print from the previous day, whatever it is, as long as it offered me a little bit more security, I would choose that one over the other.
That makes sense. Or if it's like a previous runner, that could also be a thing.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I was just curious because I was like, I always like to get different insight and stuff, and I know there's a lot of small cap traders as well in the chat. So I was like,
absolutely.
Why not? Question time. But yeah, so this Tesla 184 rejection. Wow. Yeah, it got to 184 and said, no. And it closed the door to the Cybertruck, like unfortunately happened to Sharif when he was not able to get to the Cybertruck.
No.
The doors were closed. Yeah, this Tesla rejection is quite nice indeed. We're going to have to wait and see. We're bouncing off 70s, that is for sure. Cannot believe time flies when you're in these markets.
All right, guys, I will see everybody in 2 minutes at the big screen. Kill it, Adair.
Thank you. Much appreciated. Kill it, Sharif there. Shout out to Sharif. Thank you so much for putting together the lessons every day, and you will see him in 2 minutes. He will be talking about those tickers on the green screen, and you will see him doing that promptly. So, yeah, shout out to that. Let's take a look, see what else is going on here. Where did I cover my AMD short, says Kanye East? Yeah, AMD, I was just scalping. I scalped in and out. So a couple scalps there on the AM Dizzle there, or AMD, whatever you want to call it. Basically, this 162.50 area was a level. I just was not able to play it properly. Where I had this short, it's actually the place to short it. I got out too early. It's all good. I'm just so excited to come back tomorrow and can, reflect a lot. Like I said, I think it's always important to reflect, learn, and grow. Ready to come back to these markets tomorrow with that confidence, and with that knowledge, because I do think you learn from doing every single day over here. BA hitting turbulence says, says stock there. That's a. Wow, shout out to Kyle Burdett for calling this short earlier too. This rounded top, this was such a look here. BA definitely making a lower low and careening to the downside. What a day we've had. Lots of stocks moving here, lots of small caps, lots of DJT, some mega cap moves as well. But right now, we're gonna have to move over in just a few seconds here to the big kahunas there. This will continue to be ATR week, so we're gonna see you guys tomorrow with that. Same bat time, same bat channel. Right now though, we got Sharif at the green screen, guys. Have a good day.
Mike?